Adventurers, welcome back to the Forgotten Realms. We're in the town of Phandalin. We are emerging into a new day. As the sun rises over the quiet town, various people awaken, begin their adventures and head about their day. As you all had such a big evening the night before, Lenze, Rob, Thistlewick and Daraax have all slept in through the early part of the morning, and now we come up to about 8 a.m. as we all begin to sort of wake and emerge. Meanwhile, a distant traveller, Malaggar, has been travelling through the region, across, hang on, flip the map around the other way.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's more. So the town of Phandalin is here. So you've been travelling along the high road towards Phandalin, led on this quest to this location by visions that have been haunting you on and off for quite some time. You've had the same vision at least 3 times, vivid, and the vision is a portal, a rip in time and space and reality appearing, and a maniacal figure dancing around in front of it, laughing and screaming, and also there seems to be some sort of robot there in the vision. It's unexplained, you don't know. But you get the vibe, the sense that Phandalin has something to do with this vision that you've been experiencing, so you've been progressing your way here. Meanwhile, as everybody else begins to sort of wake one by one and recall what they can of the evening before, you are Araelia, Boralis. You've just been dreaming about the evening events before, the day that you've had your half-brother pulling you into a crazy portal to another world where some strangers then murdered him in front of you. As the dream flashes before your eyes, your brother turning into a cloud of smoke, you're awoken suddenly. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and Meatshield Flint has burst into your room. Araelia, we've got to get going. You've got to get up. Come on, let's get out of here. And he disappears off out into the hallway. You feel yourself waking up, shaken and dazed. What do you do?
I think, what does Meatshield want this time? This little creature has so much energy at this time of the morning.
He does have a lot of energy at this time of the morning. You can hear him out in the hallway, you know, scuttling about like he's doing stuff.
I go down to see what's going on there.
Alright, you follow him out into the hallway, and he runs down to a nearby room, and he's banging on the door, and he's yelling, Seraphina, come on, you gotta come on! And there's no response at the door, and he sort of looks at you, and he looks at the door, and do you give him any sort of signals or anything, or you just stare at him blankly?
I just stare at him blankly.
Yeah, okay, he opens the door, and he looks in, and he goes, oh, Seraphina's not in there! He closes the door, he runs down to the next door, he starts banging on the door, bowl of bread! And then you hear something inside, noises, you know. He opens the door, bowl of bread's in the bed, and Seraphina's in there with them. They're in the bed, and they're not wearing their armaments or their clothing, so they've got a blanket draped sort of over their bodies, and they're in the bed. And Meatshield says to them, you know, oh, Seraphina, bowl of bread, we've got to go on the quest, we've got to pick up some more of these crystals. And Boulderbeard looks over and goes, oh, piss off, Spork Blade. And Spork Blade goes, it's Meatshield now! And then Boulderbeard says, well, me wants to sleep, so you gotta get out of here. And he throws his shoe at the door, and it thumps, and then the door closes. Yeah. And Meatshield sort of goes, alright, well, come on, you're with me! And goes running off down the staircase, down into Tobin's tavern there. And, what do you do now?
I say, alright, Meatshield, let's go. Let's get these points there.
Alright, so you go follow him down the staircase. Yeah. Roll for perception.
5. Plus 0.
Plus 0. Alright, so 5. As you wander downstairs into the Stonehill Inn tavern area, you don't notice anything. You see that Sporkblade Meatshield is at the tavern counter talking to Toblin, the innkeep, and he's handing him a piece of paper. Alright, well, we'll be back later. And then he scuttles off towards the corner of the room where the robot is standing. There's a giant mechanised thing. He's not giant per se, but he's a large humanoid robot shape entity that is, you know, Meatshield's buddy or something. And so the robot sort of initiates, and the robot starts following Meatshield towards the door of the tavern.
I go to investigate what's going on further.
Alright, roll for investigation.
1.
1. You look around, and the entire world around you doesn't seem real to you. As far as you're concerned, the world that you were born and raised and broke the sky and caused that weird lighting effect in the sky, that was reality. That was the real world. This place that your half-brother brought you is some sort of fictional realm, and you're not fond of it. You're not amused, and so you don't take in any of the finesse of the room or the environment, and you follow Meat Shield and the robot out of the entrance of the place. And again, as you walk through the streets of Phandalin, you don't notice anything. Locals wandering past, you don't see their faces. You don't pay any attention. You're just looking around at the world around you, just in a daze of your own disamusement with the situation, as it were.
Maybe I'm too groggy because Meat Shield woke me up.
You are still half asleep and struggling to wake up. You have like a weird headache for the first time in your existence. You didn't get this back in your home world. This world kind of makes you feel discomforted in some sort of a way. You're not fond of it internally. So yeah, you're not even you've had a bad start to the morning, wrong side of the bed. But he leads you out of the town, and you wander off up over the hills and a short distance away from Phandalin. And now that you're on the outskirts of the town, you can pause there for a moment. Meanwhile, as everybody else begins to sort of wake one by one and recall what they can of the evening before, the evening before feels sort of like an unreal dream-like scenario. Like, time wasn't quite right, the rules of reality kind of broke. You remember some of the ludicrous things that happened as a little man opened a portal inside the middle of the tavern, and people from another world fell out of the portal and caused some drama. You ended up stabbing that guy. It was as the memories come back to each of you individually in different sort of waves. So we're going to go around the table really quick and roll for... Everyone just roll the dice. Everyone just roll a d20 and tell me what d20s you get.
For athletics?
Just roll a d20. Does everyone just roll d20?
11.
You got 11.
Oh,
do I need to as well?
Yeah, you roll in as well. Everyone roll a d20.
It's either a 9 or a 6.
Where's the dot?
I think it's there. 9?
It's a 6.
As a 6.
I got 11.
Oh, I should have just looked at the other numbers around. Anyway, yeah. 6.
You got 6, okay. So based on the dice rolls, I'm going to say that Lenze is actually the first to awake within the location, remembering specifically how the clothes fell off of that naked man the day before. He came from another world with mysterious clothing, and you're kind of semi-obsessed with this clothing. You'd spent a portion of the evening trying to get your hands on it, and even now as you awake, the first thing on your mind is how do you get your hands on that mysterious, otherworldly clothing that for whatever reason you were tempted by the evening before. That seems to be the primary takeaway you've got. You're not necessarily worried about the guy that died. You just really want to get his cloak.
Going to pick up Rob's backpack.
So Rob's in his own room. He's in a locked room of his own accord. You're in your own room. We're all individually waking up in our rooms at this moment. So you're in an empty room alone.
I'm just going to do a perception check. What's around me?
So roll for perception. 9. Yeah, so you are in a room that's quite large. You've obviously got some bedding, you've got some shelves, there's just a few knickknacks, some candles, some paper inside the drawer, a quill. The window ledge has like a bit of, what do you call it, like spare screws, because it's kind of like screwed shut instead of like being able to open and close easy. For whatever reason, they've actually bolted the window shut, so, and there's a couple of spare bolts there. But beyond that, nothing spectacular in the room. Obviously, you've got all of your musical equipment with you, and everything from your inventory sort of just in the room with you as well. But
I need some screws.
you're going to take the screws from the window still?
I'm going to take the screws.
Add 3 screws. Hang on, where's my dice? I'm going to tell you how many screws to do. 4. Add 4 screws to your inventory. But yeah, they're not real fancy ones or anything. They're sort of just makeshift little metal screws.
Phillips had a flathead.
Now I just need some bucket and some lube.
I'm a maintenance man.
Yeah, just the one with the one line.
Flathead, great.
There you go.
It's actually called cheesehead screw.
I will go ahead.
In this world, they're just called screw. They don't actually have the other one established yet. Continue.
Philip never has been.
What's the quick thing with the asterisk looking head?
Hex key.
Oh.
Hex screw.
Well,
You
there's
got two different ones. You got star
The
screw.
green,
and hex
the
screw.
green flag.
Yeah.
What a good conversation.
But yeah, so you gathered up your 4 screws. How are you going to sort of start your morning? Are you going to stay in your room and sort of think about the evening before? Or are you going to leave the room and progress down to the tavern? You've got the choice
I
to...
will leave the room and progress down to the tavern.
Okay, as you enter into the tavern, roll for... Yeah, roll for perception. Straight perception.
17.
17. So as you progress down into the tavern, you notice, of course, Toblin, the innkeeper, behind the bar, minding his own business. You also spot what appears to be a young boy, not wearing any shoes. He's got dirty feet, and he's sort of cleaning and sweeping and sort of cleaning up the debris and stuff on the floor of the location. On top of that, you also happen to see another tiefling. This tiefling is sitting in the corner, seemingly flipping a coin and talking to another person who appears to be a little forest gnome. So the two of them are in their own little booth. And then on top of that, you can sort of get the vibe that something's changed in the place, because you're looking around for that robot. Remember the robot? It's not there. Robot's nowhere to be seen. So that's what you've perceived as you've entered. So you're aware of everybody in the room. That's everybody there. There's nobody else in the room currently. And that's where you begin. Just you can pause there for a moment. We'll go around to the next. Who is the next highest for the waking up? I think it might have actually been.
I've got 11.
Yeah, it was you. You're waking up now. So you're in your room and you've woken up. You also kind of heard the footsteps outside, as if you hear other people moving about, hear the furnishings of other people waking up and doing their morning bits. But you're now in the room. The part of the day that you find yourself thinking about yesterday was the part where you managed to intimidate Sporkblade Flint before he got renamed to Meatshield Flint, and you'd scared him away, and the entire team went after him, and then he tried to attack us riding on top of a giant robot, and then the team renamed him and fell in love with him, and just the chain of events is just quite indistinct. You kind of don't like him. He was so annoying and kind of just like a horrible person from your perspective, but for whatever reason, no, the team seemed to like him, and you find yourself festering on that as you wake up.
Yeah, okay.
Seething with rage since you woke up.
No, he's not seething. He's just a little bit grumpy. He's rolled out of bed. He's still kind of like... he doesn't do the best with alcohol, so he's got a bit of a hangover. Gets his armor on, his chainmail, and he just kind of just wanders out, kind of mumbling to himself about the day before. And makes his way downstairs. He doesn't do anything in particular. He has all of his stuff, though. He hasn't left anything in his room.
Okay, as you enter into the downstairs location out of your room, roll for perception.
I don't think I have good perception.
Roll for it.
No, I don't.
2. So as you go downstairs, you notice that there are people in the room. You don't see their faces. You don't know who's there. What you notice is that on the counter there, in front of Toblin, appears to be some sort of bowl with food inside. Some sort of, you can see chunks of meat floating in like some sort of thick liquid, and there's steam coming off of it. It's hot food.
Yeah.
And that's all you're focused on at this moment as you've entered the room. You're not perceiving basically anything else that's happening in the room at this moment.
This is at the bar?
Well, their food is at the bar. It's sitting right on the bar in front of Toblin, as if he's giving it out to people, maybe.
Oh, okay.
We don't know, but you've spotted it. There's definitely hot food right there.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to pause you on that one for a moment, and we're going to go over to the next fastest wake up, who I think might have actually been Rob somehow.
I got a 6.
You got a 6, but didn't you get 2? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're actually waking up, and you're a little bit hungover, but you're waking up and you're thinking about just how great you did yesterday.
I think he doesn't remember last night at all.
No, but you do remember the highlight, which was that you were amazing.
Yeah, obviously. I
thought you were great. You don't remember who everybody is necessarily, but whatever you were up to, you were the spot-on highlight of the thing. That's what you remember out of the foggy memory of the evening before.
Can I go through my pack and discover that there's this spy cloak thingy in there?
Roll for perception.
That's a D20, right?
Oh, roll for investigation, sorry. Roll for investigation.
-2. -1.
Okay, so as you open your bag, sure enough your items are in there, and sure enough there is a mysterious wadding of clothing in there, and all of the items in the bag seem to just be lightly singed. And you don't notice any of that. The thing that you were looking for in the bag, you can't remember what it was, and you don't remember why you were rummaging in the bag, but what you were looking for wasn't there, and now you're kind of annoyed about the whole thing. So you didn't really notice anything going on in there. It's suspicious, except for whatever you thought you wanted. You can't remember what it is, but it's not in there.
No.
It might have been a drink. It might have been who knows what you were looking for a second ago. You can't remember, but it wasn't in there, so you're kind of just frustrated.
Yeah, I'll just go down, look for food.
You're going down?
Something
Okay.
greasy.
I want you to roll for acrobatics for me. I roll for acrobatics.
7.
7. Yeah, so you do manage to get out of your room and you've got your stuff in the bag. Oh,
10, sorry.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you do manage to just put your stuff in your bag, swing it over your shoulder, and stagger, only semi-stagger, down the staircase, down into the main part of the tavern, where you do manage to identify people in the room. You don't necessarily recognize faces and names, but you definitely see a tiefling bard in there who you remember played an awesome song about you. Yeah. That part comes back to you as vivid as day, that he sang a song specifically about you and how amazing you are. And you're overwhelmed with joy upon seeing that particular person. Everyone else in the room taking more leave from your perspective. And now finally, in the final room, we have Thistlewick waking up, and he's waking up really...
Yeah, but he rolled anyway. Okay.
He's coming in,
I'm walking. Okay, I'm walking. There.
He is walking. He's actually, if we flip the map back over, he is coming up to here, which if we flip it over, is coming into the edge of town. You're coming in through the town at the moment. I'm going to come back to you in a moment if that's okay.
That's fine.
But in the final room, waking up in the tavern, we have Thistlewick, who wakes up thinking about the events of yesterday, specifically on the part where he sort of had tried to say to the team, I have the ability to end this combat, and the team was sort of like, yeah, and so you froze the enemy in the air, so nobody could, he wouldn't be able to attack or cause any damage. And briefly, for a moment there, you remember him having a diplomatic moment where his half-sister had said to him, like, hey, what's it going to take for you to calm down? And he said, give me the relic that was, my world is in that bag, is what he said. And he did. There was a relic you'd seen that was somehow in the bag. I'm not sure how it got in the bag, but the whole thing seemed reasonable until you froze that guy. And then the team went and stabbed him and murdered him, just right there in the middle of town. And the team celebrated it. They all laughed and cheered and had a great time. From your memory, you're thinking back on it, you're really worried about the people you're with and where things might go from here. You're kind of just a little bit traumatized.
Absolutely. And, having a late sleep in due to also having used whatever left of my energy to try to heal up Meat Shield, just having a bit of a sleep in. I will went upstairs, so I'm presuming I'm in the second story, so I'm going to go look outside and of my window and just take a breath and also just take a look at the day and see how it is before heading downstairs to meet with the maniacs.
Okay, so as you go and look out the window, are you attempting to open the window or just look out the window?
Is it? I presume it was just like shutter doors that I could just push open and look out. Or
all right,
if it isn't, I can open it.
Yeah, no, roll for...
Open it.
Hang on. No, actually I'm going to have you roll for nature.
Nature?
Yeah,
Hooray.
roll for nature.
-2? That's alright. 7.
7. So as you approach the window, you do notice that there is some sort of thing on the window as if previously it had been sealed. But at this point it is not. It is able to be opened. You open it up and you take a breath of fresh air and you're looking out into the world. And in the distance you see... What was your number?
7.
7. In the distance you see... you see the robot disappearing off into the distance. But it's on the edge of town, disappearing off, way off the grid. So you are in the tavern, looking out the window, off into the distance. Robots disappearing off the edge of the map.
Marvellous.
And you can't see exactly who or why, but there are people with the robot. You can see smaller entities accompanying the robot. But the robot, for whatever reason, the silhouette of the robot is very much to you noteworthy. You can see it, you recognise it, disappearing away.
Marvellous. Alright, well, I guess I'll... confused by that, just head on downstairs to start the day.
Alright, so I'll have you quickly roll for insight.
Insight?
Roll
I got +6! 23.
23?
Yep.
Okay, so you walk downstairs, and despite being able to see basically the whole party in the bar, except for Araelia Boralis, who seems to be missing, the robot who you just saw disappearing into the distance, and of course Meat Shield Flint, the person that the party saved, he seems to be missing as well, is what you identify just as soon as you walk into the room. So you go straight to Toblin, and you want to know where the robot's going and what the story is.
I don't know what's going on. I'm presuming he was up before us, so I ask, where's Meat Shield? Is he with the robot? I saw him heading in the distance. What's going on?
Yeah, and he immediately hands to you, because you rolled so high on your knowing what's going on.
Thank you.
He says, Meat Shield left that for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Meat Shield.
That's what Toblin said. Toblin said, Meat Shield left that for you.
Marvellous. Thank you.
Yeah, and so now you're in the tavern with everybody else, and at this point we have our Malaggar, the wandering in, actually arriving at the entrance to the Stonehill Inn. And now you've been guided here by the vision that you saw a robot and a portal and a weird maniacal little guy laughing and screaming, and that's haunted you. And the closer you've come to this location, the more at ease you felt on the inside. As the further away you were up until this point, you had discomfort. These visions were giving you great discomfort earlier on, and the closer you've come to here, the more peace you've found internally. So now that you're right here on the doorstep of this location, you feel like you're right where you're meant to be in this universe. And yeah, so there you are. You're just on the doorstep. The decision to walk through is up to you, or you could turn and wander away, but you've spent your time coming here. And now that you're here, taking a big deep breath, you have to decide, are you going to try and go in?
Transform into an ox.
Transform to an ox and kill everyone. You
Um,
can go talk to someone.
You could go anywhere, do anything, but you have had a strong internal urge to come to this location, and now that you're here, you're just bewildered by... You're almost scared, you're almost petrified in this doorway, as it's almost unreal again. It's felt more and more real the closer you've gotten, and now that you're here, suddenly it feels just uncanny again.
I'm gonna go in.
Okay, you enter into the pub. Would you roll for perception? Perception.
Yeah, we did. Pass perception.
20 plus 3, 23.
Okay. As you
know everything.
As you enter into this location, despite never having set foot here in your life, despite not knowing any of the people inside by name or association, you immediately know a bunch of things. Just from walking in, you can immediately tell that the innkeeper does not seem to be hiding anything. You can immediately tell that the tiefling that's near the bar is more powerful than they appear. Meanwhile, the tiefling over in the corner gambling is less powerful than they may appear. There is a gambling tiefling in the corner of the room. Well, flipping a coin around and talking to a little forest gnome illusionist. But you get the vibe off of that entity that they're more or less harmless. You're not worried about them. You can also sense in there that there is a relatively powerful Dragonborn near the bar, staring down some sort of food.
Focus.
You can also sense a entity. He's sort of like a fella. He looks like he's hungover, but you sense a lot of power coming from this particular guy. You can also sense in the room as well the little boy that's not wearing shoes and is cleaning up. It has slightly more going on than is led to be seen. You can also feel on top of this that something happened at this location relevant to your vision. And that you already know that this location is the backdrop of the vision. Even though your vision kind of only had these three key pieces, seeing this location in front of you, you know that your vision was something that took place here. And the most recently you saw this vision was yesterday. You haven't seen the vision today, but you saw the vision late yesterday afternoon. Right when you were getting really close to this place, you saw that vision stronger than you'd ever seen it before. And now that you're here, you know that you're where the vision was.
I might go talk to the barkeep.
Okay, so you walk over to the barkeep, and the guy is quite a large humanoid sort of a guy. He's not the biggest guy around, but he's a relatively big. He's an older man. But his name is. He sits there, hey there, traveller. My name's Toblin. How can I help you today?
Yes. I think I might ask if he knows of a glowing tear in space. I guess. I don't know what to call it.
Nice.
If he knows of anything glowing recently.
Oh, you mean the portal from yesterday? God, it was great. I wasn't expecting it to happen, but when it happened, I couldn't believe that a full concert took place right here, detailing the events moments after they occurred. You must have come to hear from the... Oh, if you look over there, pointing at the tiefling near the bar. Over here's the mastermind that did the whole concert. You should talk to him. He knows all the ins and outs of what took place there.
Okay.
And Toblin sort of turns his attention away to you. He's now talking to like the Dragonborn that's in the room. They sort of look like they're discussing soup, Meanwhile, we're going back around to, so in terms of fastest reaction time, I think we're back to Lenze. So you are in the room And you can see Rob has entered now wearing his backpack, and you can kind of see that the backpack is slightly singed, and your mind is immediately thinking about whatever you're thinking about.
I'm going to see if I can do a performance to get free food.
Okay, roll for performance. Yeah, of course.
That would be 13.
13. So you begin singing a song and dance about how great Phandalin is as a location, singing the praise of the town's owner, Harbin Westerner. Because you've heard from just, some of the people you've spoken to in the short recent while that the owner of the town is actually some sort of a banker. And you're looking for, make as much money as you can. So singing the praise of the town owner, the banker, he's actually the guy that made and booked the quest board. So you incorporate that into your song, singing about how he, booked the town, gives the quests, and hopefully you're going to meet him soon. As you're singing the song, people in the bar are amused, and Toblin is giving you the face like,
Okay,
you're going to get some free food for this.
I walk into the kitchen.
Yeah, okay, you're walking into the kitchen. Yeah, okay.
Are you still singing?
I'm singing
He's playing and he's walking into the kitchen, sure.
playing bongos.
Playing his bongos, yeah.
I take the pot,
Yeah.
go back up to my room.
The full pot. Okay, I'm going to have you also roll for sleight of hand now.
Oh my god.
It'll just be a nat 11.
Nat 11. Okay, so as you pick up the pot and start carrying it through the room while also playing the bongos, Toblin is enjoying it. He's sort of bobbing along and smiling and stuff. But as you make it sort of halfway through the room, suddenly your path gets blocked by the young boy without shoes. He's kind of dirty and grubby. His clothes are kind of rags and stuff. But he appears in front of you and sort of grabs the pot and puts it down on the table in the middle of the location and starts scooping bowls of stew out of it and starts sort of handing it out to the various people, including handing one over to you.
I give him the screws I took earlier.
You hand the screws back to the little boy.
Yeah.
Alright, give me a second then. I'm going to roll for something on that. Yeah, he takes them and he pockets them and he sort of gives you a little smile, like as if it was a normal interaction that you've just had.
Yeah, have some screws.
Yeah, screws went straight in his pocket and the bowl of food straight in your hand. Smelling it, you can smell it, some sort of meaty, brothy thing. There's definitely chunks of meat in it and there's definitely some sort of liquid stew, broth type stuff. You're not sure the exact specifics, you're not sure you want to know, but...
I'd like to ask the young boy what kind of meat is in the stew.
Okay. So you say that and that, what sort of meat is this?
Yeah.
Right, so the little boy says, "Oh geez, mister, I don't know nothing about all that. It's top quality meat, I'll tell you, from the forest animals, you don't need to worry." And he sort of gives you a little thumbs up, not overly reassuring one, but he gives you a little thumbs up like it's good, it's fine. Okay, you're good, okay. So moving back around to the next fastest reaction time, we're going over to Dragonborn, who's been staring down the soup. So you're standing at the front of the bar, and Toblin briefly spoke to some stranger, but now he's finally ready to talk with you about soup. You had to wait a full few seconds for him to give you the attention. But you're ready now, he's here.
Okay, yeah.
I'll help you.
He doesn't look away from the bowl of soup. He's actually quite entranced. He's like looking at this like, wow, this is the best food I've ever seen. It smells so good. I'm like, please can I have that? Like, it's the biggest bowl in the entire bar. It's like 2 handful bowl type thing.
Giant bowl.
And he's looking at this like can I please have this? Please, like, how much money do you want for it? Like, I can pay anything. I'm so hungry. Like, please.
Okay, roll for persuasion.
Go very persuasive. +1. Oh, +1. Okay. 3.
Not very excited.
He leans in and he says, "This big bowl here, this one's for me. If you want to take my bowl of soup, this one would be 50 gold. But if you want a regular bowl of soup, you look over there," he points to the boy in the bar handing out bowls of soup, "to be 1 gold for the regular size, if you want, just from the regular bowl. There's 1 gold per soup for the regular size, but you're not taking my special bowl unless you're forking out 50.
He takes a moment and he kind of just looks between the bowls. And he goes, "I don't have 50 gold." He goes and just looks back at the innkeeper and he kind of just stops smiling. He goes, "I want that bowl. Like, I want that one. Can I roll for intimidation?"
You can roll for intimidation.
5! 5! Can I please exchange this dice, please?
I will let you swap out for a different set of dice,
It's
but
terrible.
that one's set.
5!
Yeah, so you roll 5, so you sort of put your hands on the counter and you lean forward and you say...
It's
You try to intimidate each
what?
Yeah,
You get
so,
like a catch in your throat.
yeah, so you sort of put your hands on the counter and you lean forward and sort of say, I want that
I
ball.
want, and he has a voice crack.
And his voice
I
cracks
want
and
that
says,
ball. I want that one.
I want that ball. And then, but as you say that, without breaking eye contact with you, Tomlin actually just picks up the bowl and just drinks it down in front of you without breaking eye contact. And places the empty bowl back on the counter in front of you and goes, sorry about that.
Guns start crying now.
He just turns around and goes to where the $1 bowls are and he lines up. With a bit of shame, he's hanging his head a bit. He's still very hungry and he'll probably ask for more than one bowl, but he's going for the dollar bowls. Yep. He's given up.
Okay, do you actually buy one of the $1 bowls?
Do I actually manage to?
Yeah, no, like you're gonna
Oh,
actually
yeah.
buy one?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
take $1 off your thing and enjoy yourself a little bowl of soup.
Can I buy more than one?
Okay, how many do you want to buy?
Probably 3.
Yeah, buy 3, take 3 off of there and enjoy yourself 3 soups.
Where's my-
The little boy goes, oh jeez, you're a hungry one. And gives you 3 soups.
He kind of just grumbles at that and goes to sit down.
Alright, so moving over to the next fastest reaction time, I think we were somehow back at Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rob's turn.
Just gonna go back. Is anyone lining up for the soup?
Not really. The soup's sort of just being handed out, but there's not really anyone lined up. The 2 people that were sort of sitting in the booth in the corner are still sitting in the booth, and the little boy without shoes is carrying a soup over to them. So he's just distributing it from the middle of the tavern outward at this point.
And rando guys gambling in the corner.
There is a tiefling in the corner flipping a coin at a forest gnome, and the 2 of them do seem to be gambling to some extent, yes.
Yeah, let's go over and bug them.
You can go over and bug them. So you walk over to the table, and they both look up. They both look up at you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Hey guys, and the little boy's bringing the soup over. Right?
He is bringing some soup over. He's actually just dropped the soup in front of each of them and then turned and wandered away.
Yeah, I'll just take the bowl and go, how's it going, guys? And just
You just
start
help
eating.
yourself to their soup.
Yeah.
Okay. So, roll for persuasion.
13.
13. Okay, so they do definitely notice you taking their soup, but they sort of, even though they raise an eyebrow, like, they don't say anything will stop you from doing that, and instead they introduce themselves. So the one that's flipping the coin, she says to you, hey, I'm Nina. And then the other one, the little forest gnome says, I'm Fernwick Jomble.
So what are we playing here, Fernwick?
Oh, I've just lost so much money. Nima doesn't pay fair. And Nima looks back at you, flipping a coin, and she goes, play a game of coin flip, or if you want, I've got a game of 3 Dragon Empty that we could play. And she pulls out a deck of cards and starts sort of shuffling them at you intimidatingly.
Yeah, 100% of it. Let's go.
Alright, you sit down and begin to play. Roll for performance.
21.
21. You immediately seem to be winning the game. You've actually never played this game before and are bluffing as if you know what the game actually is, but you're already winning, it would seem, just straight away, based on their reactions to the game playing out. You're sort of just bluffing, so you're just, you know, whatever, but they seem to be reacting as if like, oh shoot, you're a pro. And so money's on the table moving around and your pile of money slowly increasing as the game progresses.
Yeah, I'll just stick with these guys for a while.
Meanwhile, going over to Araelia, Boralis. You're wandering down this sort of strange trail, and as you walk through this trail, Meatshield's rambling to you about how he knows about these special crystals that can be used in certain rare rituals to break open unseen barriers between dimensions and open rifts in the multiverse itself. And that's how he sort of brought you to this world and rescued you from your horrific fate or whatever. Now, as we arrive at a location, he sort of indicates at a fork in the road that this is sort of where we're going to actually go off trail. Instead of taking either of the forks, he tries to lead you off of the trail entirely, off just through the thickets of wilderness. Are you going to follow him, or are you going to try and sort of question the situation that you found yourself in?
I'm going to question the situation. Meatshield, why are you trying to go off the road here? Let's take this other path.
Oh, geez, well, the place I'm trying to take you is where I found the crystal from, the one that I used for the ritual to bring you in the first place. I thought the first place to look for more crystals would be where we found the last one, and that's not on any of the paths here. You gotta follow me over this way. It's a secret.
How did you find the crystal?
I smoked some magic leaf, and a vision led me to a door, a special stone door. It's got writings on it, ancient writings. I've managed to trying to decipher them. I know what the intent is, but the crystal was in the door, and I've managed to retrieve the crystal. And my robotic friend helped to, transmit the immense power and act as a conduit for the ritual.
So you stole a crystal from a door while you were otherwise incapacitated.
Oh, I didn't steal the crystal. Well, I still have the crystal here. He holds up a small sack with, you can see this little sand coming out the bottom of the sack, the crystal shards, because it's, disintegrated. He's clearly got, a bag of powder. I've still got the crystal right here. I can put it back in the door.
Oh, Meat Shield.
He sort of looks a bit awkward about the situation, but he sort of looks at the robot, and the robot sort of just doesn't even give him anything. And so he sort of is like, well, we gotta still come on, we gotta go this way. And he starts trying to continue off the path, sort of looking over his shoulder to see whether you're going to follow him yet.
I feel like he doesn't really know where he's going at this point.
Alright, roll for wisdom. No, roll for insight, sorry.
16.
Yeah, what's your insight?
+2.
+2 to insight. Okay, so a total of 18. So you think that Michio doesn't know where he's going, but you get the sense when you try and assess the situation. You can see on the ground underneath him that there is some sort of a beaten path. That looks like not many people have trailed it, but now that you're actually assessing the scene, you can sort of see that somebody relatively recently has tread that path, and the footsteps that you could sort of make out, like the shoe prints, do seem to resemble his and the robots. Almost like you can see the tracks of them as if they actually had passed through this area 24 hours earlier. So you do think maybe, even though he may have found it by accident, he does seem to be at least retracing his steps to some extent.
Alright then. I guess we'll try this unbeaten trail and see where it leads.
Alright, so you go wandering off into the wilderness for a brief amount of time, and there's a few turns and twists. He sort of leads you past some sort of rocks and some sort of weird trees, and sure enough he comes across some sort of a weird area where you come into almost like a rocky area, and there's large stone walls making sort of a wall shape, and in the rock walls there, sure enough, is a strange door. And there is a large sort of rectangular, triangular sort of a shape, sort of what do you call it, a diamond shape in the door, sort of where that crystal looked like it had sort of come out from. And now Meat Shield's there trying to pour the sand into this hole in the door, and the sand's all just sort of falling out of the door and sort of spilling at the bottom of the door. And the door's covered in these sort of symbols and markings and stuff. And there's definitely some sort of inscription written across the top of the door in a language that you do not recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can figure out this language on the door?
Do you have any languages on your page? What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, Halfling, Simple, Martial. Oh, that might be a different thing there.
Yeah, no, it's not written in any of those, so you don't recognize it at all. But Meat Shield's mumbling to himself like maybe he knows something, so you could possibly ask him.
Yeah? Alright, Meat Shield, do you know what this text says?
Oh, this is an ancient text. It's hard to decipher. I've been trying to decipher it for a few days now, ever since we first stumbled upon this place. But the text seems to say something about an idol. It says something about how if you can shine the light upon the idol, the entrance will open. But I've never been able to figure out what that means. What could that possibly mean?
Yeah. What could that mean, indeed. How about we have a look around the room and see if we can see this idol, and maybe we will try to shine a light on a figure and see what happens.
Okay, so roll for investigation, and also tell me if anywhere on your page it says anything about dark vision.
Dark vision?
Do you have dark vision?
I'm pretty sure the eyes of the drowned thing you said.
Oh, what does the eyes of the drowned do? Read that one. You've got the eyes of the drow.
I can see through magical darkness and illusions while in Death Shroud or underwater.
Right now you're not in Death Shroud or underwater, so no, it doesn't apply in
Yeah.
this situation, so you don't have dark vision right this moment then.
Ah.
Yeah, does it say anywhere else on any of your other pages anything about a dark vision? Or anything about additional vision?
Yeah, it says I've got 60 feet of dark vision.
Well, there you go. Brilliant. And what was your roll on the dice for investigation? D20.
1.
1. Okay. So on a 1 investigation, you start looking around the area saying, you know, maybe there's a hidden idol in the area.
+1.
+1, so 2. So yeah, you say that maybe there could be an idol hidden in the area, and you're looking around, but you're not finding an idol hidden anywhere in the area. But Meatshield is still poking about at the door, and that's when Meatshield sort of says to you directly, like, "Oh my God, you got to look through this door right over here." And as you walk over and look through the door directly where he's pointing, you can see inside of the room beyond the door where he's pulled the crystal out inside of the gap. Inside of the room in the total darkness is some sort of an idol standing just in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this through the same door that...
This is you're looking through a hole in the door that is sealed.
Yeah.
The one that's got the inscription on top.
Oh, okay, the one that had the crystal in it.
The crystal was in the door.
Yeah.
And Meatshield's trying to convince you that we need to get through this door because he's convinced that there could be crystals inside.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that's what he's hopeful for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now you're standing at the door and he's guided you straight to it and you can see inside there's an idol. But what you do is up to you now.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking there are 2 ways I could approach this situation.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I could try and lockpick the door to see if it will open, or I can try and shine a light straight through the keyhole towards the idol.
You could. So which of these paths are you going to try and take?
I might try... How was the door sealed? Was it just locked, or was it...
Giant stone door.
Yeah, and
You
there's no
can't-
locks on it or
There's
anything?
no locks, no handles. It's just there.
Just a hole that we could see through.
Well, it's like a door carved into a stone wall. It's almost like an optical illusion where there's no handles and the door doesn't move. Like you can push on it and it just feels like a stone wall.
Yeah.
But it's carved in the shape of a door. And it's got all these symbols carved into it. And it's got that weird inscription carved across the top. And again, it's got this big hole in the middle of it. About the size of a large crystal.
Oh, okay. So that's why we could see through the hole where the crystal was.
Where the crystal was. That's the hole that you're looking through. Meatshield never looked through the hole before because he can't see in the dark, but you can. So now that he's pointed your eyes in there, you can see that there is some sort of an idol in the middle of the room. And he told you that the inscription said something about how when like you say, when the light flickers upon the idol or whatever, somehow this is supposed to open the door.
Okay. Could we see any windows in the room?
No, it's total darkness.
Yeah. Then I might try and shine a light.
What sort of
Towards
magic do
the
you have that
idol.
could do a light? Do you have an item that could be a light, or do you have any magic that could
I
generate a
do
light?
have torches, but I've got magical powers too, so why not try and use some of those?
It's up to you, whatever light you want to try and put upon it.
And can I just use the low level ones at the moment?
Yep, any of the level 1 magics. You've got all your level 1 magics at the moment.
I have the Ember Flick where I can flick a spark.
Yeah, you're going to try and flick a spark maybe?
Well, that might create a bit of light.
It certainly could.
Yeah, flick a spark towards the idol.
Alright, so you're going to flick a spark into the hole, into the room at the idol. Roll for Arcana.
17.
17. You manage to flick quite a hefty spark into the room, and the spark does manage to land in there, hitting some sort of cobwebs or dust or something, and it crackles and it sparkles, and there's a brief amount of flame. And sure enough, as the light crackling out of the flame briefly touches upon the idol, the door itself, with a loud grinding stone movement noise, the door sort of slides open on either side, releasing in the middle, and now there is an entranceway into this chamber, but the little spark that you flicked in has flickered out, so the room is now back in total darkness again, and now the door starts to close again, and it starts closing again now that the room's back in darkness and the idol's in darkness.
Yeah.
What do you do at this moment? The door is suddenly closing. Meatshield's yelling, "Quick, quick!"
Go into the room.
You step into the room.
Yeah.
So you step into the room, Meatshield jumps into the room, you're both now inside the room. The door closes behind you. You can pause there for a moment. We're going over to, hang on, Thistlewick.
That's me. I'm going to go over to the little boy, who to me is probably regular sized.
He is your height, as it would seem.
I
Maybe slightly taller than you, actually.
I would just like to kindly ask him for a bowl of soup. I don't offer him money, I'm just saying, may I please have a bowl of soup?
Alright, then roll for persuasion.
Persuasion. I've got a +2. 11.
11, okay. He does hand you the bowl of soup, but he sort of is like, there's 1 gold.
I look sad.
You look
I
sad.
look sad.
Roll for survival.
I'm really, really poor.
Die.
I've got a +4 survival, nifty. 12.
12.
Looks a bit sad.
I hold my hand out with a dollar, but it's very sheepish. Sort of, take it if you must.
He looks around the bar and he does see that in front of Rob seems to be a 2/3 drunk soup with the final third still sitting in the bowl, and he somehow grabbed another bowl from the people that he's gambling with and is helping himself to a second bowl of soup. The little boy grabs the mostly drank first soup and hands it to you and sort of just gives you a little gesture like, shh, keep that quiet.
I smile very nicely and enjoy my soup.
Okay.
I'm a little fella, I don't need much.
Okay, fair enough. Do you do anything else in this moment? You find yourself with a few seconds on your hand.
I
as if
saw
you could...
the gnome over with Rob, so I guess I'll just go and stand over his shoulder and witness whatever's going on.
Okay, so you go over to the corner to witness the gambling. As you approach, you do see what appears to be Rob winning at gambling.
Good on him.
The 2 people he's gambling with don't look overly pleased with the situation.
I'm just hanging about. I'm eating my soup.
Alright, and then finally we circle back around to Malaggar, who's in the room and has assessed the situation well, but is still just trying to touch base on what's going on here.
Okay. I'm sure what to do now.
Your dragon
Who was
was
the one that the barkeep said go to?
For the soup?
No, for the information.
Was it me?
It was you?
Oh, it was, yeah. Go and talk to the person who did the performance. Performance person played a concert last night of the events in
you went to your
question.
room. You went to your room.
No, I didn't go to
He didn't go to the room. He made it halfway to the
room.
room, and then a little boy with no shoes stopped him in the middle of the
yeah.
place and took the food off him. So now he's just standing there eating a bowl of food.
Standing in the middle of the spot. Yeah, I'll go over to you.
Yes, he walked up to a very sort of demonic-looking entity. He's tall. He's got some horns. I think one of his horns is broken in like a way that you notice as you're approaching as well.
How tall is he?
6'1"?
6'1".
I'm 6'11", so I win.
You're slightly taller than
It's a competition, I guess.
No, it is a competition. We were making his character, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm 6'7". He was like, "I'm taller than you."
I'll go up.
But you do walk up to a relatively tall tiefling who's slightly shorter than you. He's got bongos and he's eating soup.
I'll say I was told that you know about the what was it?
Portal.
The portal
And the robot.
in the robot.
Can I make a perception check?
Yeah, roll for perception.
What's Malaggar wearing? Got a 9?
9. So you do have an understanding of what he's wearing visually, but maybe not what additional magical nonsense may be involved. So just describe
Make it an 11.
Or make it an 11.
Describe it.
Alright, describe it, but then also let us know if it comes with any sort of extra nonsense.
Okay.
Well,
I
are
don't
you
think
wearing
that's-
armor? What armor are you
Yeah,
wearing?
what are you wearing?
Was it high or leather?
Leather.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing leather armor.
Very simple.
Very simple. A bit of leaves attached to it.
You're a nomad walking around. Probably
Yeah.
don't have much. What are you carrying?
Carrying a club at my waist, attached.
Is it dirty, worn?
It is got some mud on it, but other than that, it's kept in good shape and form.
Do you have any special knickknacks or anything? Any bags?
Yeah, any part of it special to you, either in sentimental value or actual magical value.
I'll have a small backpack that's like tied on by vines.
Any of your items of clothing like have any special value to you? Did they come from an ancestor or from an earlier part in your story that matters to you? Any of it got sentimental value that you can identify?
No sentimental value.
Yeah, just a regular old
it's just
outfit.
armor. That's
Just armor.
fun.
So,
And you identify that, basically, yes.
I'm a travelling bard. I've come here to the Sword Coast to spread chaos through music in ways unknown.
Great.
Okay.
Last night, we witnessed a portal open up and 2 beings come through the portal. We met with a few travelling companions and approached a warlock last night, or a necromancer. I couldn't quite tell, to be honest. knowledge of the dark arts is not truly my thing. We saw him channeling a spell. I casted superheat on his cloak, and the metal rings on the cloak came off, and suddenly he became naked.
Okay.
Story.
And he didn't realize he was naked, so we went and fought him and stabbed him to death. This sorcerer who he's over there playing cards, it looks like. I just shoved his magical cloak in this guy's bag, and he's got no idea.
Oh, he's got no idea.
He's got no
idea.
So we came back. I got us some free rooms. I went to sleep. I'm now awake again. That's all I know.
And from your earlier really good perception check when you entered, your intelligence check, whatever it was, you can tell he's not lying as he's told you the story. You can sense that this is very much a true story he's just described.
Okay.
Can I ask any questions?
I'm trying to think.
Your vision, people in your vision.
Do you know of a robot and someone laughing? Maniacally?
There might have been a robot. I wasn't really too involved with that.
Okay.
The robot, yeah, I saw him walking around, but it didn't interest me.
Alright, now we're going to move on going back to the first reaction time. I think it is actually back to Lenze, so we're going to rotate turns from that turn to this turn. What do you do now at this point after describing this story?
I'm going to ask Malaggar what his backstory is. Why have you come to this place?
I've seen a vision multiple times. I don't remember the entire full vision. Can't remember.
The vision is kind of a portal opening, a maniacal, laughing, small man dancing around, and then a robot is just kind of there. In one version of the vision, though, you did see the robot being the one to tear the portal open, and in one of the visions, you did see the laughing man jumping through the portal.
Okay.
But it's not always exactly the same, but those three elements are always sort of there. And it's the most vivid of the fantasy. They're also in like a weird setting where you can sort of see that on one side of the portal is like inside a tavern, and the other side of the portal is in like a field somewhere in like a different realm. You know, you kind of get this weird scope of both ends of the portal with no context.
Cool.
You don't have to be truthful to him.
You don't have to, but he might roll for a thing if you start lying.
Okay. I'm going to say that I'm here to find a portal and the robot for answers. I won't say anything else about the portal.
Okay. I will go ahead and just do a perception check of the room, see what's available, what can I do, what are my options available.
Yeah, just consider the environment, sure.
18?
18. So as you sense the room and the layout, you do sense that the two people that are losing money currently to rob are becoming disgruntled more than they are visually letting on, and that things are escalating there quite rapidly, more than they appear. You also sense that Toblin, the innkeeper, is completely unaware. He seems to be focused for some reason on the boy with no shoes. The boy with no shoes is still handing out soups, but at this point everyone's already got a soup, but he's still trying to hand out more soup, like, hey, one gold. And the Dragonborn, you do notice, is munching down the third soup, just loving it, just in a corner, just 2 bowls of soup empty in front of him, and the third one just going down immediately right now at this moment. And you also identify in the room that there are various candles that are not lit for lighting because there's not a lot of natural lights coming through right now. And you can also see like the chandeliers above have like the option to have like the candles lit in them as well, but they're also not on currently. But just in your identification of the room, you also notice that the stairwell, the banister going up and down, even though it's quite sturdy wood, it could potentially be broken if somebody was to really give a good slam on the banister there. So just in your identifying of the room, and the tables and chairs are all just small wooden tables and chairs, all very flammable stuff, but nothing specifically noteworthy about that. You do notice at the corner of the room where the robot normally stands, just sort of has a weird empty presence to it since the robot's not there right now. Beyond that, you do notice that the thing of soup is in the metal cauldron, as it were, almost not like a witch's cauldron, but just one notch shy of that, just a large metal cauldron full of the mysterious soup. You actually also identify as well that this soup is actually a Stroganoff.
It's a Stroganoff.
It's a Stroganoff, and you have perceived high enough to actually identify what it is. It's Stroganoff that everybody seems to be eating.
Okay, I'd like to walk up to the Tiefling.
Okay, the Tiefling in the corner that's gambling?
Yeah,
Yep.
there's Rob right now.
Yep. So you walk over to the corner, and they will look up at you. Well, except for Rob, who's still looking at his cards as if he understands the game he's playing. But the other two, the gnome and the tiefling, they both look up at you. And also the little boy with no shoes is sort of just circling nearby, sort of as well, with his soup, as if like maybe he's going to try and hand out his soup some more.
I'd like to converse with the Tiefling.
What are you going to say to this tiefling?
I'd like to tell him that the boy over there stole a bunch of her gold.
You say that boy stole a bunch of your gold.
That boy stole a bunch of your gold. Nima's, I think her name was.
Yeah, it is Nima. But you may have heard it across the bars. You say, are you Nima? I think that boy stole a bunch of your gold. Roll for deception.
25.
25.
Why was she the
Why can't I get rolls like that?
25.
So Nima stands up without saying anything and gives you a little nod like, thanks for telling me that. But her eyes are getting real wide, like eyes of madness. And she storms over to the bar and starts whispering quietly to Toblin. But you can sense the vibe that she's fuming. And Toblin quickly calls the boy over. He calls him Jip. Hey Jip, come here. And the little boy comes running over to Toblin. Yeah. And you hear the three of them all having a little... And then next minute, Toblin and the boy go off into the kitchen there, into the back area where you took the thing from before, and you can hear what sounds like the boy being disciplined physically. Whoosh, whoosh.
Look what you've done.
And meanwhile, she comes back over and sort of gives you like a good job on that one. And she sits back in her booth, and she's now staring down Rob though, as if she's not so worried about the missing gold from earlier because she's intending on trying to get her gold back via another method, and she's returning to the game. She's also, at this point, getting like frustrated at the game. She's dealing and stuff, but like the dealing is not going in her favour for whatever reason, and she's getting quite sort of frustrated about that. You pause for a second, so we're going to circle back to the next fast restriction time. I think it's raw. Oh, Dragonborn. Yeah, so you've just finished your third soup. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now that you've eaten, you can actually sense the other things in the room again. The rest of the room kind of comes into focus. You can see that your friends are in the area now. You recognise that there's people around you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think... Well, Can I roll for perception to see if I saw what happened there with the boy and everything?
Yeah, sure. Roll for perception.
You want to not see anything.
I'm not going to see anything.
Actually,
I'm
roll
going
for
to go back to my
investigation.
rolls.
Roll for investigation.
Investigation.
On that one.
Okay, -2, that's fine. Oh, okay, 15. Not terrible this time.
15. As you finish eating this amazing soup-like thing that you've eaten, it had chunks of meat in it, and there was little bits of vegetables, maybe some sort of carrot or something. It was so good. But as you finish that, the deliciousness of the meal was soured by the sounds of a young boy being beaten in the back room. And you're sort of aware that as you were eating that last soup that the boy had done something. You sort of can kind of get like he stole from somebody in the bar maybe, but for whatever reason he's now being disciplined, and you're just not fond of that. Like regardless of what he did, that's not the right way to handle it. So now you're quite upset. Your stomach is now turning from what was a really beautiful breakfast a moment ago. Now you're just feeling sick to your stomach with upset because you're now well aware that this boy is in the back, seemingly getting some sort of a beating.
Yeah. I wasn't aware that, well, obviously the whole thing with like the stealing.
Well, you don't have the full story now, but you sort
but
of...
I know that there's a boy out the back being beaten, and I'm really upset about it. So I don't think I'll go out the back and see that, because I have a feeling maybe it stopped, or is it still going?
No, it's in the back room, in the kitchen right now. You can hear...
Oh,
sorry!
Okay. Do I know that he is the one that caused this, or do I just...
You don't even know what caused it because you were eating your soup, but you do know that you heard the words, he stole, and I'll handle this. And next minute he's getting a beating in the back room. Like, they're not outside, they're in the kitchen. Like, the whole place can hear what's going on. So it's whether or not people are paying attention, I suppose.
Okay.
Whether they care.
I might... Is he still with the Tiefling? Like, is he still talking with her?
Yeah.
He
I'm at the table, at the side table with Rob and the Tiefling and the
Thistlewick.
forest gnome.
Yeah, Thistlewick is at the table with
Yeah,
three Karolina and Fernwick, Jumble, and Rob.
What's
And
that? Everyone's basically there.
Everybody's at the gamble table basically right now, yes.
Okay. I don't think he is one to storm into someone else's business because he respects the innkeeper enough to not go past the bar. So he goes over to the table and everyone's talking, so he's kind of just like trying to get everyone's attention. He's like, "Hey guys, like, come on, listen. Do I have to roll to try and get their attention, or
Yeah, roll for performance.
can I roll for intimidation instead?"
Well, how angry are you going to be? Are you trying to convince him happy, or are you trying to convince
No,
him
I'm
scary?
not trying to convince
All
him
right,
happy.
intimidation.
I'm quite upset at
Yeah,
them,
intimidation then, sure.
Please, please, please. No. Okay, I think that's 11. Yeah, intimidation 11.
Alright, so you walk over to the table and your intention was to be intimidating, but you have come across more as clumsy as you bumped into the table and the pile of coins that was piling up in front of Rob all sort of falls over, making the loud clang of the money and everything. And because the money sort of spilt as you bumped into the table, everybody turns and looks at you, but not in a "we're happy to listen to your way," but in a "what are you doing" kind of a way.
Yeah, okay.
But all eyes are on you now.
Okay, well, I'm not intimidated or anything from them all looking at me. I'm kind of just like, well, I don't slam my hands on the table. I calmly, like, kind of just lean on it. I'm like, what's going on? Why is there a boy being beaten right now? What is the reasoning for this? What is going on? Like, I need someone to tell me now, because I know one of you knows what's going on. You need to tell me.
Everybody that might not have been paying attention to the sound now all do notice the sound. Nobody in the place is now denying that they can in fact hear a boy in the other room. I'm sorry!
That's awful. Oh, God. Okay, well, that's, yeah.
That's your one. Right, and then we're going to flick over to Rob, who is at the moment currently winning at a game that he's never played before, but his most recent hand had a pile of gold stacked up in front of him, so he playfully piled it into a little tower, and then the Dragonborn, right, knocks the tower of gold over, so now he's looking at you, and you're sort of saying that there's a boy getting beaten, and yeah, he can hear somebody getting beaten, but whether what your concern is up to you at this moment.
Rob doesn't care about no boy getting beaten. I mean, he probably did something wrong. He's just interrupted. The main problem is this Tiefling wandered off, came back in the middle of a game. You can't do that. You're going to be slipping. You know,
do that.
She's the one dealing it as well.
She was dealing.
And then she walks off and then comes back and, miraculously she starts winning maybe. Oh, that's not going on. I want perception to make sure she's not slipping cards away.
Okay, roll for deception.
Deception?
Actually, roll for investigation.
Oh, investigation, that's terrible. 8.
8. You don't have any solid concrete proof that she's cheated in any way, shape or form, but you think that you do. You think that she's definitely moved cards and that's what was just going on. So you immediately accuse her out loud of leaving the table for the purpose of cheating and moving cards, and she starts trying to show that she hasn't moved any cards around or anything, but you're beyond the point of hearing it. You're quite adamant. She's cheating, she's not playing fair of the cards, you deserve all the gold on the table.
Yeah, I'll just take it.
You just take it?
Yeah, that's my gold now, I'm out. I'm off.
Okay, roll for sleight of hand.
14.
14. You do begin to scoop up all the gold on the table, saying that her walking away was an automatic forfeit, and she does try and argue the point with you, but you say no. And she sort of looks at the crowd of people, and the crowd of people are all sort of shaking their heads like they're not amused by the situation. So she sort of begrudgingly steps back as if to let you take all the gold, but then another hand falls on the table, preventing you from taking all the gold. It's Fernwick Jumble. We're not done here. And he plays down his cards. His cards are better than your cards at this moment. He starts snatching gold off the table in front of you. So now you've only got 2/3 of the gold. He's got 1/3 of the gold still, and now he's staring at you like the game's not over.
I'll keep playing him.
You keep playing him. So you give a signal to Nina. You give a signal to Nina as if shuffle up and deal the next hand, even though she's out of the game with no gold at this point. And she does begrudgingly, without hesitation, sit down, shuffle the cards and start dealing out. But her eyes, while you two are still playing, her eyes are now scanning across everybody else in the place. She's dealing cards, but she's just looking at everybody else, sussing you all out. And then we circle back over to Malaggar.
Okay.
Malaggar, and what are you doing at this moment? So you've just heard a boy getting beaten, you've heard a Dragonborn say, what are we going to do about that? You've seen a drunk man say, I'm returning to the game.
Okay, well, I know that you cause it because I saw you walk off.
Oh.
No, perception, did you see it?
Yeah, but roll for perception.
Maybe you didn't see
Actually,
it.
roll for investigation on this one. Roll
Maybe
for
you didn't
investigation.
Okay, wait,
Was he not at the table with them?
No, because you walked off.
He was. I was on the stairs. He was talking to me on the stairs. You might not have seen me do it.
Yeah,
You did kind of walk off, and I was like, man.
Yeah, you kind of said it quiet style. So
So
whether you
what's
heard or not, roll for investigation.
Investigation, I got +4 for that. I got 8. Never mind, I didn't see it.
I didn't see nothing. I didn't see anything at all.
I mean, you did see a conversation happen between people, but you didn't quite track who said what to whom and why. You just know that all of a sudden, now the kid getting beaten in the back room,
Okay.
the dragon's not happy about it.
Okay.
2 and 2 together.
The aristocrat seems to be drunk gambling with a forest gnome.
You can audibly still hear.
You can also hear like, "Oh, I'm sorry, no," and then just the occasional, "What have I told you?"
Okay. I might walk over to the Dragonborn.
What do you mean walk over? We're all standing around the same table.
Yeah, no, but you're the one that was asking questions.
Yeah, but I'm leaning on the table.
Yeah, but you're like 2 steps away. 2 steps, walk over to you.
Yeah.
I'm leaning like this on the table.
I'll walk over to you, and I will ask you if you found out what was going on.
You're at the same table.
No, because I was upstairs, and then I'm coming
You're
up.
upstairs. Okay.
I was upstairs talking to him, and then
Okay.
now I'm over at the table
Do
talking
I
to
know
him.
what's going on?
But yeah, so what's going on is what you've been asked.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I meant to know? I just asked. No one answered. Like this is actually frustrating me now. I'm like kind of like heating up now. I'm actually getting mad. No one's telling me this kid's still out there. I may as well go out there myself. And that's what he says.
And I'll say, I shall come with. we'll go investigate this together.
Okay, we'll go together.
Yeah.
Seems like a plan.
Alright, so do you two start moving towards the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, I'll roll for... I'm going to have both of you roll for insight.
+0. 6!
14.
14. So as you approach to the area where you can hear the situation playing out, you hear essentially nothing for a brief moment, and then the boy with no shoes quickly comes shooting back out into the bar and starts quickly like sweeping up and cleaning, grabbing up all the empty bowls, very quick, darting about, and Toblin sort of comes back out and just sort of stands behind the bar, arms folded, staring at the two of you as if you two had just started moving at the wrong time, as if waiting to see whether you're going to challenge him or not. He's just staring you two down as you now stand in the middle of the tavern between him and everybody else that they're both still watching Rob gamble. But Toblin's just staring you down and the boy's now darting around by your feet, dusting and sweeping and grabbing up rubbish and empty bowls of Stroganoff.
Okay.
Okay.
It's still your turn, so you can go first. I'll just do it.
I'm going to ask Toblin, say, good kind sir, has this boy done something wrong to deserve that treatment?
Alright,
You should roll, yeah.
roll for investigation.
7.
7. So Toblin leans in, and he sort of gives you a signal, like, you know, come in closer and listen up. And so you lean in as well, and he says, sort of just quietly, just to you, that boy's a very troubled boy. He's got some real problems. This isn't the first time he's done this. Look, he came to me a while ago looking for an inn, looking for a house, looking for, you know, some guidance and protection in this world, you know. Do I have to be hard on him? Sure. Does he need it? Of course. That's what's going on.
No. I'll probably just nod and kind of back off.
Okay.
Nod and go, no.
Okay. Daraax doesn't back off. He still stands at the bar.
Well,
I can wait until my
I'll
next
say,
turn.
well, if he deserved it, I'm gonna not
Yeah.
step into this.
You just sort of walk, just sort
This
of
is
like
not my
giggle and
fight,
step
step in.
aside, just sort of like,
Yeah, but okay. I'm gonna be over there now.
Alright, you start backing away, and
Yeah.
Toblin gives you a face, like a face of respect, like you respect me, I respect you, we have an understanding.
Yeah, that's how you do
The
it.
boy, though, gives you a little face, like, oh shit, you know, maybe you shouldn't speak up, you know, maybe you made the right call by, like, you know. Meanwhile, the Dragonborn's still there fuming, but I think going
I was like,
around.
We'll wait it. We'll leave it.
Yeah, I don't think you'll go yet. I think we're back to Lenze. No?
Oh, no.
Do we
He is
No,
still
we're not.
standing.
Yeah, you're last.
No,
Yeah.
I'm before him.
You were before, yeah, so we are
Oh,
back to
yeah,
Lenze.
okay,
We're back to
okay.
Lenze. I was right. Go me.
I am before. I didn't go
Ashley
before.
hasn't
That's
gone
all
yet.
right.
Did you miss yours?
That's all right. I don't
No,
have
Ashley,
any.
you go.
I
Yeah,
just-
it's your turn. It's your
Just
go.
do something.
I'm just watching him still.
Just do
Nah, you've got something. You can forfeit your turn by just watching
You're
if you
hearing
really
a
want,
boy
but
being beaten out the back. Are you okay?
No, he's not gonna beat anymore. You guys stop that.
You heard it though, and it went on for quite a while. So what?
Business.
I'm gonna have you roll for
Guilt.
Abstinence.
No, I'm gonna have you roll for Arcana. Sure, why not?
Oh, why would you make me do that?
Because
You're like the opposite of my best friend. 2.
so.
Oh.
I implode.
Yeah, no. So the reason you didn't seem to participate so much in the entire event that just played out is that you had a weird vibe about you in the last few moments. Like there's some sort of unnatural energy still lingering in the tavern from that portal split yesterday or something.
Right.
Just maybe not from that, but from something. There's some sort of unnatural something in the air which has been distracting you for the last few moments. You ended up sort of daydreaming briefly. Not so much focused on Rob and his gambling, not so much listening to the boy getting beaten out the bag. You just sort of zoned out for a brief moment. And as you zone back in, like you say, the boy situation's already been resolved, and the Rob situation seems to be playing out in front of you as you speak. So
Marvelous.
at this moment, you don't sense any sort of magical anything to be worried about, but you are concerned regardless.
Alright.
You just feel a bit uneasy.
Just very uneasy. And if you do want to take any additional action at this point, you definitely can.
Oh, jolly gosh. Do I notice anything? Whilst I've been zoned out, of course, I saw that Rob was playing his game with 2 people, and now one of them is just dealing cards. But this gnome here, the Fernwick or such their name, they seems to be slightly antagonistic to Rob. Do I notice that, or is that 6 past?
No, I'm going to go with you do notice that. Mm-hmm. You do notice. That's sort of when you came snapping out of it, was when the 2 people approached the boy getting whooped and the boy sort of coming out. Mm-hmm. That's sort of when you zone out, but that's also at the same time, more or less simultaneously, that the gnome has now challenged Rob to further gambles, and the Tiefling sat down and started dealing them in. So you are watching the fresh gamble taking place between the gnome and Rob.
Can I speak in Gnomish? Can I just say like a sort of informal, like, you okay? Because it seems odd for a forest gnome to be less than pleasant.
Yeah. So your question was to the gnome, are you okay? And it was in Gnomish.
Yeah, just because they seem a bit out of character for a gnome. I'm just, informal. How you doing?
I'm going to have you roll for insight. Insight.
I sing every time. 9 total.
9 total. Yeah, so he sort of looks over to you, and his eyes sort of dart around to see whether anybody noticed you speaking Gnomish to him. And when nobody seemed to notice, he does speak back to you in Gnomish. And he sort of tells you that he's actually got a debt, and that he really needs the gold right now to clear the debt, and that's what's the cause of his stress. And that he's sort of got roped up with this tiefling swindler. He tells you that she's a cheater, and that she's been cheating at various gambles, and that you shouldn't be gambling with her because she always cheats. And this is the first time that he's seen her losing. He doesn't know how Rob is beating her. She is a cheater, and he must be somehow either accidentally so lucky that like the cheating isn't working, or maybe he's somehow cheating too. He's not sure, but he's never seen her lose anything, and that's why he's in debt. He's in debt to her.
Can I insinuate to Rob? Just I don't repeat that back because that would cause a fight. Can I say to Rob, hey, let's wrap this up? Or Rob, do you listen?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to have Rob actually roll for perception on that one.
Maybe he's so entranced.
15.
15. Yes, you can sort of communicate to Rob, like, hey, maybe we should get out of here, maybe you've won enough, etc. And Rob does sort of pick up that there is some subtle underlying subtext. He doesn't know why you're saying it in the way that you're saying it, but he understands that what you're saying is slightly more than just what you're saying. He understands that you're sort of trying to be like, hey, hint, hint, something's going on. He doesn't know what or why, but he does pick up that hint, yes.
Okay, sweet. Well, I'm happy with that.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, so going back to 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Lenze. I would like to gather the party up. I would like to ask anyone if anyone knows anything in this area that we could do. Anything to follow up on this story of ours. Anything to follow up on what happened yesterday.
I don't come to it because I'm not part of the party. Yeah.
Oh, you're hanging out.
You are part of the party.
That's not very
Not yet though. I kind of just arrived.
I'm going to have you roll for performance. You attempt to get everyone's attention and call everyone together. Roll for performance.
16.
16. So you sort of say, like, hey everybody, and everyone in the place turns to look at you, and you sort of say, look, I want to talk about this, and quickly everyone sort of assembles around you as if they were ready to have a team meeting, including some of the NPCs for some reason come and sit down at the table as well, as if you called everyone in the room. The only person who doesn't actually come to the table is Toblin, who from the counter gives you a face like, I got you, I'm still listening.
Perception check. What are the names and descriptions of these NPCs?
Okay, roll for investigation. Just a
Okay, 7.
7. So from visual investigation, you are able to see that the one that was gambling has more stuff on her. Multiple pockets on this tiefling with various things inside. You know what's inside all the pockets, but this tiefling's carrying more inventory than has visibly been shown with the deck of cards and the one coin. But you also notice that she has a weird attachment to her coin. She keeps flipping the one coin over and over, and you sense that there's something more to her in that coin attachment. But on top of that, you don't really notice too much suspicious about Nina. But you do get the sense that she would be quite good at sleight of hand. You do get that sense that she's really bloody quick with her fingers. As for the other NPCs that you look at, you see the little boy. He's like a human. He's dirty, barefoot, but you do get the sense that he is really good at storing information. He listens in and like eavesdrops and like he knows stuff. He could probably say more or less everything that's ever happened in the tavern based on how much he seems to be paying attention and how much everyone's ignoring him. On top of that, you also identify that Fernwick Jombo, the little forest gnome, is incredibly stressed. You can get the sense that he was a fairly normal forest gnome at some stage earlier, but he's been pushed into more of a chaotic alignment at this stage, and you do get that sense of wild card madness of like, if he's pushed or cornered, who knows what he might do. But beyond that, you get the sense that he did start with a gentle soul. He definitely had a gentle soul recently, but maybe not currently anymore so much. You get that sense of desperation and panic.
I'll go ahead and welcome the new people to our group of travelling friends. I'd say that
they'll be joining the party.
Well, they're all sitting down at the table to have a discussion. Sure.
Depends what we do.
Will we be introducing our characters now?
Yeah, we're going to go for an introduction. So we're going to start off with you who called the meeting. So Lenze, you can start. So little Jib is going to say, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves? Or... Says it to you though, because you've just been the one to call everyone over. Like, hey, let's talk
I'm gonna
about
ask
this.
Jib for my screws back.
Did you say give me the screws back?
Give me the screws back.
Okay, roll for
Dark's
intimidation. Wait, are you saying it nice or mean?
Give me my damn screws
Yeah,
back.
roll for
Okay,
intimidation.
Daraax is really mad now.
17.
Oh, and he gets.
Yeah, as you say, he says to, are we going to go around and introduce ourselves? And you go, give me my screws back. And he just sort of, immediately, without hesitation, hands you the screws and sort of just shrinks down a little bit, like tucking his head into his shoulders and sort of cowering just a little bit. But he doesn't leave the table. He stays at the table upon handing you all your screws back.
I'm a travelling bard, looking to spread a kind of aura through the local lands and spread influence of my homeland. I feel like the best way to do that would be to join up with some like-minded folks.
Yeah, and then we'll go around in order. So we'll actually go over to Dragonborn for second introduction. You have the fastest reactions. You've seen him introduce himself, and you've seen the little boy ask everyone to introduce themselves. And then the screws taken.
Well, Daraax is, whenever he talks, he's usually quite loud. He's not aware that he's quite loud. So he just skips the introduction. He says, I don't like you. Straight to the tiefling across from him. He doesn't bother introducing himself. He is quite mad.
Yeah.
He sees the interaction between the boy who was just beaten minutes ago and the tiefling who asked for his screws back, which he had no idea they were his screws. He just thought he asked for some screws and just gave them over. So he just says that, and he has his arms crossed. He's got really broad shoulders, so he's just kind of like, I don't like you.
The lucky screws.
Yeah, and I hold your reaction to that first. So before you even react, the next person takes their go. So Rob suddenly interjects at this point.
Hey, I'm gonna toss all the gold that I won back to the two guys because I'm just in it for the game. I'm a noble. I don't need no gold.
Alright, so you return all the gold back
Yeah,
to
just
both
good.
Fern
It's like,
and
yeah, good game, guys.
3 Cup Nima. As you distribute the gold back between the two of them, Fernwick starts trying to scoop up the gold, but 3 Cup Nima kind of like takes it away from him and scoops all the gold to herself.
Sleight of hand.
You rolled for sleight of hand?
I want to flip my dagger out, slap it in the table.
Okay, yeah, roll for sleight of... Actually, roll for intimidation.
Intimidation?
Yeah, roll for intimidation on that one.
6 plus 8.
8. So,
Intimidation, not going too well.
6 plus 8?
So,
No,
Oh, okay.
6 plus 2.
So you say, as a noble, I don't need the gold. You can have it back. I was in it for the love of the game. You put the gold back out on the table. You watch as the little gnome starts to grab some of the gold gleefully, and then the tiefling just scoops up basically all of the gold, and the gnome looks sort of disturbed for a moment and sad and defeated. And you decide that's it. I'm going for my move. So you reach to doing one smooth move from your bag, pull out the knife, except you don't do it smooth. You end up with your hand stuck in your bag, and you start rummaging, and you're all like, hang on a minute. And you kind of drop the bag on the floor, but the knife comes out, and you sort of just slam it on the table, but it doesn't land all intimidating like you would have wanted. But now you do have the knife out on the table, sort of drunkenly, sort of like, hey, making a threat.
He's already drunk from last night. Still.
He kind of still is a little bit.
Last night.
So you do have the knife out on the table, but it wasn't overly intimidating. But everybody is looking at you as if to see what your follow-up statement's going to be at this moment.
Cast fireball.
No, I want to cast Kazar Juice Break and hand it over to the...
You casting Quasar Juice Break?
Yeah.
He's drunk
And handing it to who?
Little gnome.
The little gnome, okay. Give me a second then. I'm going to roll.
Juice box and
Not this little gnome.
Like infinite knowledge.
Oh yeah, he takes it as well. So he's going to take the Quasar Juice Break, and he takes a sip of it. And as he drinks from the Quasar Juice Break, his aura kind of changes. The vibe he's giving off changes, and it sort of relaxes his whole body. And you can sort of see in his eyes this twinkling, this sparkling, as if there's stuff going on behind the eyes that you're not privy to. But he just starts staring off into space, but with a level of contentness about him, like he's the calmest person in the room now.
Dragging the whole town.
Yeah, he's completely taken his eyes off of the table too, and is just sort of staring up into space now, but quite content. He's still just part of the room, but yeah, he's not focused anymore.
No, cool. So I'll introduce myself to everyone else, turn away from the gambling. I'm Rob, my brother, the Baronet. Sent me down here, look after you peasants. I'm here to look after you.
And then we go over to the next reaction, which is actually Malaggar.
Do I say my last name if I want to? Or?
You can. It's up to you how you introduce.
Okay, I'm Malaggar Moonshard. I'm here on a mission for a vision I have seen, and I'm looking for answers, and I won't say anything else.
And a few words.
Fair enough. And then we go over to the final person, who would be...
It's a weird.
You actually rolled so low on the thing earlier that the NPCs introduced themselves before you do. So 3 Cup Nina, she says, my name is Nina, and they call me 3 Cup Nina because of my ability to host games. She shuffles her cards with one hand, flips her coin with the other hand, places them both on the table, reaches in her pockets, pulls out 3 cups and a ball, quickly shuffles those around, and says, if anyone ever needs entertainment, I'll be the one to speak to. And then Fernwick Jomble, the little forest gnome, he speaks up. Oh, my name's Fernwick, and I just really want to go back to the forest soon, but I don't really know why I'm here. I had a series of bad events. I don't really want to get into it.
Isn't he high as shit right now?
He is, but he's saying that while he's sort of like spaced out. I had a series of bad events to lead me here, and I don't want to get into that. It's been a wild road, but he just starts drinking from the drink some more and just staring up into the corner of the ceiling. And then finally, little boy with no shoes, he's wearing dirty rags, and he says, my name is Jipple Thatchley, but people call me Jip the Listen Boy. I'm a little human, and I'm so excited to be here with everybody. Toblin's like my dad. And Toblin in the corner just sort of was like,
Perfect.
Look, I know that me and my dad, maybe don't have the best relationship, but you know that he loves me, right? And Toblin just sort of nods, like, yeah. And then all eyes sort of fall on the final person sitting at the table, which happens to be Thistlewick.
That's me. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all. Finally, I'm Thistlewick. He puffs up his chest and he puts his hand over his amulet. You see a unicorn in a sort of oxygenated bronze amulet around his chest. It says, I'm a cleric of Alana. I'm here to protect all things good and living, and it's nice to finally meet you all as people now. And he's chuffed, and he's like 3 foot something, so he's a bit shorter than all of you, but he's standing proud.
Yeah, good. So we'll circle back to Araelia, Boralis. The door closes behind you. You're now in total darkness, but you can see fine. But Meatshield is in a total panic. He grabs you and starts holding your leg. Oh no, we left the robot outside. I hate my robot.
It's okay, Meatshield. I can see in the room.
What do you see?
I see the idol. I see...
As you look around, you start to notice that in the room there is other strange carvings on the walls, almost as if more idols were carved into the walls of the room. These weird sort of shapes. Again, they're not humanoid, these idols, but they're sort of a portrayal of a humanoid type thing. They've got the 2 arms, the 2 legs, but they're sort of twisted in these horrific poses. Really horrible stuff, and with Meatshield shivering on your leg, you're not so sure whether the imagery of what's really in the room. Looking around, roll for investigation.
16.
16. In the room, you also do notice some various chests with big locks on them, and you do notice that there are some crystals in the back of the room there, sort of in one of the hands of one of these twisted things carved into the wall. Its hands are holding one of the crystals, but it's got multiple sets of hands, so it's holding 3 crystals with 3 sets of limbs.
Yeah.
And this particular carving on the wall is the largest carving in the room. It's much larger than the idol in the middle of the room.
Okay. I'd like to investigate a bit closer to the carving.
Okay, so you lead Sporkblade through the darkened room, and he's panicking the whole time. Are you sure you don't see danger? He says, I don't see any life forms. Are you sure? And then you make it to the other side of the room, into the depths of the room now, and you do reach out, and you can feel the crystal in your hand. And as you feel the crystal, you feel that the stone carving that's holding it is holding it very firmly. It's not just going to be easy to just pry these crystals out of the hands of this carving. The carving is gripping them with a real tight grip. Also, the bag of sand that Meatshield has doesn't seem to have the same energy that you can feel as the crystals on the wall. With your innate arcana, whatever, you can feel that these crystals do have magical potential, magical energy, something going on in there, but you don't know what, and the magic signature doesn't seem to match the one that Sporkblade was trying to pour in the door on your way in.
Okay. What kind of magical energy are these crystals giving off?
Well, in a sense, if you were to imagine magical energies on a colour spectrum, the bag of sand that he was waving around was giving you sort of a dull yellow, maybe even a slight orangey sort of a vibe in terms of an emotional wavelength. But the ones on the wall are giving you a cool crystal blue feeling in terms of magical vibe energies.
Okay, we can work with that.
You could work with some crystals that are vibing you in sort of a blue feeling kind of a way.
Yeah, we could work with that.
Alright, well they are wedged in the door quite tightly. What do you want to do? Not in the door, but they're wedged in the hands of the thing quite tightly.
Yeah.
3 sets of hands, so six arms, all coming out of the one large, twisted humanoid creature. This one's the least humanoid in the room, by the way. All the other ones resemble humanoids much more than this one. It's twisted up, like I've already overusing that word.
It's very twisted.
No, they're humanoid.
Oh.
Whichever word, I overuse all the words, but regardless, this thing's holding the crystals, a word I never overuse.
Yeah. And looking at this twisted humanoid creature that's holding this large crystal, you said it's wedged in there quite tightly.
It's quite firm, yeah. It's almost like this thing is ancient, and whatever created it is long, long, long gone. And there is some level of like erosion that's happened to the environment where everything that's set in stone has like aged in stone. Like there's cobwebs and dust in the room, and the thing itself is like maybe at some stage it could have been a situation where you can slide the crystals in and out of its hands, but that was possibly hundreds of years ago. At this point, the statue's holding it with a death grip.
Yes. Then in investigating that, we can determine that this statue has eroded quite a bit. So even though it's got a firm grip, we could break the statue.
You're going to try and break the statue?
Yeah.
Do you have any, what, you're just using like your fists, or you've got a tool, or you're going to use some magic? What are you going to do to try and break the statue?
I'm gonna use some magic.
You're going to use some magic?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. I could use the stone dart and, use a harder stone than this creature is made of to hurt a rock spite. It's a piercing, and it says minor cover boost, whatever that is.
What level was that one?
1.
And what element?
Earth?
You're going to use your earth elemental powers to bust up the statue. What was the name of the spell?
Stone dart?
Stone dart.
Do you reckon
So
that
you're
would
going to
work?
launch a stone dart at the statue and bust it up with your crazy magic stones from another world.
Yeah, because they look a lot harder than this eroded statue.
Alright, roll for Arcana.
Beat it at its own game, hopefully.
What'd you get?
5.
5. So you launch a rock at it, but the rock hits the statue and bounces away. The
Yeah.
statue does not seem to break when your rock bounces at it.
That one didn't work then.
You're going to try again, are you? If you feel that your magical energy is limited, you feel like you could only do this maybe 1 or 2 more times before you may have to potentially rest.
Yeah. Well then, it appears my powers with ember worked better than my powers with rock. So maybe if I flicker the ember, it'll illuminate the room, so Meat Shield can see a lot better, and it could also inflict damage on the statue.
That certainly could. So you're going to try your fire flick again, are you?
Yes.
Alright, roll for Arcana. What?
7.
7.
Still a low one.
Okay, so you flick the flame at the statue and...
Oh, plus I've got a +3 on Arcana, so...
Ooh, 10. So you flick the flame at the statue, and the flame does hit the statue, and it sizzles and it sparkles, and some of the dust and some of the cobwebs does catch on fire for a brief few moments. But while the room is illuminated by the spark, even though it doesn't seem to damage the statue in any way, in this moment, Michio says to you, "Oh, great thinking, boss!" And he runs over to the little sparkle that's sizzling, and he sticks a stick of dynamite in there, and the stick of dynamite starts sizzling. He goes, "Oh, great!" And he sticks it at the bottom of the statue, and he comes running over to you, "Quick!" And he jumps into your arms like he's expecting you to carry him.
Alright, we run to the other side.
You're going to run to the other side of the room.
Yeah, behind this other statue so that we don't get hit by this dynamite.
Roll for athletics.
8.
So you do manage to run him across the room, but when you get to the door on the other side of the room, the door is closed. A giant stone door sealed in front of you with one tiny little diamond gap where you can see the outside world. And Meatshield's now screaming at you, "That's not far enough!"
Well, that's why I was going behind the other statue.
You're going to go behind another statue? You're going to try and like duck into the wall, kinda? Like squish up in the wall now?
No.
The entire room, all of the walls are these sort of...
they're all in the walls.
They're in the walls. There's only one in the middle of the room, and the rest are the walls.
Yeah.
And on the back wall is the largest sort of assortment of a thing, and you've now stuck a dynamite under there, and it's sizzling, and now you're on the opposite end of the room with Meatshield screaming at you, "That's not far enough!" Although technically speaking, you are now between the idol in the middle of the room and the dynamite.
Yeah, so the
But
idol
it's a
in the
small
middle
idol.
of the room.
It's a small idol.
Ah, is it?
It's very small.
Well then, what else can we do? How far? Maybe the dynamite is only just enough to break the statue and it doesn't actually reach us.
Maybe. Let me give a quick roll and see what my dice tells me over here. Right, what's your AC?
14?
14, okay. You're lucky. So, boom! The explosion takes place on the other side of the room. And in an instant, a loud flash of light flies through the air, striking the idol in the middle of the room. And as the light strikes the idol, the door that you're pressed up against begins to open. And the explosion comes hurtling the air and the smoke and everything across the room at you. And with the force of that, you go flying out the entrance of the door, and a bunch of rubble and dust and smoke and everything comes flying with you. And you and Meat Shield both fly out of the doorway of the temple, and a big boom radiates through the area. And then you land, and the dust is sort of settling, and the big door is now closing, and it closes. But as it closes, one crystal is lying on the ground in the middle of the thing, in the middle of the little clearing with you, and one more appears to be jammed in the door, and the door is just in its final inches, like, and the last crystal sort of like getting crushed by the door in a weird way. No, it sort of rotates and clicks into the triangular diamond slot.
Okay.
And now it's stuck in the door, and the door is now closed, and the smoke's just sort of all through the area.
Good job, Meat Shield. You just ruined the room we were trying to get into.
Ruin the room! I've got the crystal! He grabs the crystal off the ground. Where'd my robot go? The robot's standing near the entrance to the door, and he's just standing there. And Meat Shield says, Robot, quick, come here! And the robot walks over and grab this crystal! And the robot picks up the crystal. And then they're both sort of looking at you for a moment. So we'll circle back to point number 1. So we'll go back to Lenze, who's now watched the introductions of everyone at the table.
I think it would be a great idea to head to the quest board in the local town and burn it to the ground.
I agree.
Yeah, Toblin's nodding along as well. Like, yeah.
No more jobs.
The only people in the room at the moment who look overly concerned with you saying that is a little Jip and Fernwick, who both kind of make a face like, I don't know about that. And everyone else in the room seems to be nodding along in support of that idea.
Can I be questioning that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to question that too? And you as well?
I just question anything he says.
Okay,
I'm not impressed.
Alright, I'm going to have you both roll for deception.
But no.
18.
10.
Okay, so you're not deceived at all by him saying that. If anything, you feel that he is trying to deceive everybody and you're aware of it. You, on the other hand, you just kind of feel like this isn't the right kind of vibe, and it kind of feels like, we're getting off track of the whole, portal, multiverse, full of prophecy thing. These people don't seem to be focused on the mission at all. So yeah, you're not convinced either on the burn down the quest board plan. But you are really not convinced to the point that you think him saying that was somehow a trick on everyone else, and you're the one that's aware that he's now trying to deceive everybody. But yeah, you can call that out or not, it's up to you.
Oh yeah,
So-
most definitely.
Bullshit, he's lying!
Do I do a performance check to see if I have convinced everyone that we need to do this?
I will have
Otherwise,
you roll.
The townspeople are going to suffer.
I'm going to have you roll for, performance. Oh, persuasion. We're going to roll persuasion.
True.
Yeah.
Persuasion.
Persuasion on this one.
Got a 6.
6. So you're not overly persuasive, but for whatever reason, Jip, the listen boy, he's really persuaded. But everyone else in the room is sort of humming and hawing, with many people sort of not being as immediately convinced as. And the Dragonborn then immediately calling you out, and now the doubt is all over the place. And now multiple people are, we're burning stuff now. This took a turn really fast. We went from introductions to casual arson in like a heartbeat.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to go ahead and end things by singing a little song about burning down the quest board.
Okay, now roll for...
Not too loud. Just I'll just be singing to the group.
Yeah.
Maybe playing the bongos a little bit.
Yeah,
while
yeah.
I'm doing so.
Fair. I'll have you roll for performance on that one.
11.
11. Yeah, so as you start sort of performing a song about burning down the quest board, people are, again, vaguely motivated again. They're like, yeah, okay, yeah, it does kind of sound fun. I see what you're saying. Yeah, alright, it's pretty cool. But they're not 100% sold either way. Everyone's now still trying to decide and make up their minds, which is when we go over to the Dragonborn who's called out absolute bullshit on the situation. You've now got more actions at this moment. You're the one that's... You do. You get to decide. You've seen him now start playing a song about how fun it would be, and some people are now humming and hawing. They weren't... For a moment there when you called bullshit, everyone was like, yeah, that is bullshit. And now he started singing a song about how fun it would be, and now some people are going, oh yeah, maybe it would be.
He's just... My character is already put off by him considering the whole thing that happened earlier. He still hasn't put 2 and 2 together, but he knows he has something to do with what happened to the boy. He stole some screws from him. No one listened to him before, so he's even more pissed off. And now he's picked up the fact that he just wants to cause chaos. And he hates people that cause chaos. He is like judge, jury, executioner. He hates it when people cause chaos for no reason.
Yeah.
So he kind of just... Wait, what's going on at the moment? I forgot.
We're just all at the table and he started playing a song about how fun it'll be to burn down the quest board, and people are undecided.
Punches 1d4 bludgeoning.
Just takes out his sword and kills him on the spot. He goes, okay, let's get this straight. We fought together yesterday, right?
Yeah, I even sang you a song.
I'm going to stop you there. You tripped me over when I went to go and fight that necromancer yesterday. Do you remember that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Did
you
I?
did.
Roll for...
No, yeah.
Roll
Wait.
for...
Hold on.
No, I promise. It's
History. Roll for history.
I'm
I
not
sang you a song and buff you.
Roll
I'm
for
not
history.
accusing you, I promise.
Roll for history.
9.
You do vaguely recall him falling over yesterday, but you don't recall being at fault of that at all. You do remember that this dragon was somehow clumsy in 1 or 2 incidences, but how's that your fault?
I mean, you could say that, but...
This is in his head.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
based on his role.
Yeah.
In his head, he doesn't remember specifically tripping you. In his
Fair
head, he thinks you're clumsy and blaming him.
Yep, that is
Yeah.
what happened.
That sounds like something I would do.
Well, then you
But-
did it.
I don't
You
recall.
tripped me over.
I don't recall a reason why I would do that to you.
I think you'd do it anyway. You tripped me over, steal some screws from a poor boy. Do you see him? Look at that. Look at that. He's already dirty. He probably doesn't even own like a bag to hold the screws. He was probably just holding them in his hand the whole time. And you do this, and now you're trying to tell us to cause chaos in the town that has been housing us so kindly for a night. I call bullshit. Absolute. And I will not be doing anything with you from now on.
Roll for performance as well.
I'm gonna roll so badly. Okay, 11.
Yeah, so you saying that aloud, multiple people were somewhat convinced by that. They thought you had a lot of really good points, and many people at the table are sort of like, yeah. And now everybody's sort of giving you squinty eyes, like they're not as happy with you right now, and sort of smiling at the dragon, like, yeah, this dragon's onto it. But then we go over to the next person, and the thing is Rob, who now interjects again.
I want to talk to this Jip kid. Ask him. I want to know about this dragon. There's a dragon crawling around, killing people or livestock or something. I want to know about this dragon. I'm here to help people, and killing dragons is helping people, and also fun.
I pay immediate attention to this conversation.
Okay, so you ask little Jip, what about this dragon? I've heard a dragon eating people or destroying houses or whatever. What's the deal with the dragon? And little Jip sort of looks around for a moment as if, as if it's a secret or, dangerous information. This is not the right dice. Hang on. This is the right dice. Yeah, so Jip is going to tell you about the dragon. Jip actually says, the dragon migrated into this area recently. Word is that it goes by the name Cryovane. It's a young white dragon that's just been causing all sorts of trouble. We briefly had that construction project on the edge of town. We were going to set up more buildings, and then it came over and knocked them down. We started putting them up again and knocked them down again. Damn thing's just a menace. It hasn't actually killed anybody yet, but it's getting more playful, more dangerous every day. It's as roaming the area as well. It hasn't seemed to pick a specific nesting spot that we've been able to identify. It's been spotted at multiple locations around the local area. But yeah, if you could somehow get rid of that, oh gosh, we'd be so thankful.
And do you have any sort of allergies to, say, barbecue sauce or any sort of flavorings or anything along those lines, Jeff?
Oh, we're going to use him as bait.
I've never really taken a sauce bath before, but...
Oh, hey, you'll be good then. Oh, hey. I think we got the beginnings of the plan here, Jeff.
Oh, am I gonna be soup?
No, not soup. Dragons don't eat soup.
Eat nuggets.
I'm gonna have him roll to see whether he understands what's being said right now. He just happily smiles and nods along. He's okay with Rob's plan. He actually kind of sidles up next to Rob as if he's sort of like teaming up with you. Like, yeah,
You, me, Jim, we're in it together. We'll get this dragon.
You got me, I got you.
Yeah.
Is it going to be okay, Toblin? Toblin in the corner.
Jim has a nice tentacle stats.
But yeah, so we're going to have Jeb now move across the table and sit directly next to you. He sort of just squishes in right there, so he's just right up next to you now.
I'll give him a quasar.
You pull up a quasar juice break for him.
Yeah, give him one.
Oh god, alright, give me a roll on that one. You roll for Arcana as well.
How many times can you do this in a day?
It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip.
Oh my god!
It heals as well. It's like 1d8.
Brutally
What was it? Arcana? 8.
8. And he rolled, yeah, okay. So, yeah, he does take it and he drinks it. But as he drinks it, you'll see his sort of energies change. But as his energies change, he falls off of the chair unconscious on the ground behind him. And the remaining juice break spills out. He only got 1 sip's worth. And now he's KO'd on the floor.
I just pat him on the head.
Drug this boy. What more do you want?
He'll be fine.
He's already suffering.
He'll be fine.
You're going to take another swing now?
I'm gonna take
He's
a
drug the kid who's been beaten?
He heals 2d6 or something as well.
He does heal 2d6 on the floor while he's unconscious. But that part happens internally. We don't get to visually see that.
Yeah, no, I mean, he just got beaten. He's not
He
hurt.
did just get beaten, but visually you can't see any bruises visibly appear on you.
He's already come no more here.
Well, he's so dirty and smut covered in stuff, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell which one's the bruises and which one's just him being so dirty. He's passed out on the floor right now and he looks like he blends in down there.
Oh my gosh.
But now we're going to move over to turn number 4, so we're back to a Thistlewick who's just watched a kid be drugged and pass out on the floor. No, not Thistlewick, Malaggar.
Yeah, I'm gonna looking on worriedly and scared to what I've run
Just
into.
walked in, watching all this shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching everything go by and it's worrisome. But I want to know more about the portal, and the kid seems to be the only one that knows everything, but the kid is currently dying on the floor.
He's not dying. He's
Healing on the
He's
floor.
doing something on the floor, or convulsing, who knows. And I'm kind of like looking around, like wondering who would know more things, because I've already asked you about it. I haven't asked anyone else, but I'm like, I don't know.
You can try to tend to him. You can try to wake the boy up or something. Just because he's unconscious
Yeah.
doesn't mean he's
You can also roll for investigation if you want to see if anybody looks like they might know anything or if anybody looks like they're shady or anything. Feel free to roll for that if you wanted to see what looks are around.
Yeah, I might do... Because I've got a thing. I've got my like traits and all that, like the passive I think it is. I've got like detect magic and detect poison and disease. I've also got keen senses.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure how that ties in fully.
You just read it. What is it?
Yeah, just
What do you
decide.
want to do?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I might like detect if there's more magic lingering in the area.
Okay, roll for Arcana.
19 plus 4,
Oh my
23.
23. So for a 23, yes, you do sense in this moment that there is a lingering magic in the room. You can actually now sense as you're sort of visualizing the room on like a magic filter internally. You can sort of sense where the portal was and that in fact time and space was ripped open here. You can sort of sense that the lingering archaic magic of whatever took place is wearing off, but you can sense that the whole area is still affected by some sort of an anomaly where maybe time isn't working the way that it normally should. Maybe magic isn't working the way it normally should. Only in small amounts, but you get the vibe that yesterday the rules of reality were far looser than they are right now. Even though they're still not perfectly restored to a completely normal environment, there is some sort of weird energy still lingering through the air, making everything just sort of slightly less normal than it should be at this moment. You're definitely aware of all of that. And nobody else seems to realise that they're sitting in a slightly unnatural environment still. A pocket of weirdness and space-time, as it were.
Can I roll for investigation to try and find the main source of it?
Yes, roll for investigation. 10. So you get the feeling that what took place here was a combination of things, and that some of the things still are residually here. The environment of the actual location is still here, but some of the things seem to be missing. The robot from the vision seems to be missing. There seems to be some sort of an artifact that was involved with the ritual or the events that seems to be missing, and you can kind of get this vibe of a magical trail leading away into the distance of whatever those missing pieces are. But as for what's inside the room, you kind of get the vibe of that the room itself isn't necessarily key to the whole thing. Despite what you believed on your journey here, now that you're here, visibly seeing it all and feeling it all, you realize that the location isn't the key thing. It's whatever the combination of stuff is what mattered. For the ritual, you may need to find another artifact, you may need to get another robot, you may need to potentially find whatever maniacal laughing person that was who was able to help prior, but you get the sense that all of those pieces are gone. The only thing that remains is the area where this event took place, and that you're now just standing in sort of the aftermath of such an event. And if you were to try and recreate it, it's not the place that you need, it's those missing pieces.
Cool.
In this moment, you now know all of that.
Cool. How many things can I actually do in turn?
Ooh, I'll give you another one.
Another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll admit, again, with the reality being slightly distorted, the exact rules of reality for how much you get there is slightly looser than it should be. Only 2 to 3. I don't know.
Okay.
By next session, I'll have that locked in.
Yeah.
Level 2 DM.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. Any minute now, the kid might regain consciousness. Who knows?
Any minute now, one of us might realise that we're missing an elemental.
We might. We might.
Am I?
Oh, very minor thing. Very minor.
Yeah, that's probably not the highlight of the thing.
The person who stood nose to nose last night fighting over a cloak is just not here now.
Was the? Yeah, you mentioned the cloak shoved in his back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you
I
were
know
told
about
about
that.
briefly.
No one else knows about that.
No,
Not even him.
when I was talking to you.
You briefly told him, really?
Yeah.
I've told you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows.
Yeah. I might look for the bag. Yeah, I'm gonna look for the bag.
Roll for investigation.
You're looking on the ground like,
8.
It's on.
8. You begin looking around in the room at the various bags that are at the table right now to try and determine which one is the one that contains the mysterious otherworldly cloak relevant to your vision. But you can't actually tell. All of the various bags on the table are basically the same sort of colour, the same sort of bag shape. It's basically like if a burlap sack was a bag, times like 6. There's like 6 of them in the room. So you know it's definitely in one of them. But you can't tell which one. You know, one's got a little bit of dirt on it, one's like a little bit singed. You know, some of them look fairly brand new, but you really can't distinguish between just the shapes of the bags, which one might actually contain the thing, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna just stare at the bags and.
You just start staring at the various
Yeah, I'm
bags
gonna
around
start
the
looking at
table.
the
Yeah.
bags and.
And while you're looking at the various bags, over to Thistlewick.
Thistlewick, let's go.
Old Thistlewick who decides.
We've got dragons going on over thinking about. We've got people poisoning children.
Yeah.
Oh, there are so many things you could do. I'm missing
Yes,
an
yes.
elemental. So I was going to go save the cupcakes. I'm not even pre-planning my turns. I'm too busy listening to the shenanigans.
There's some shenanigans afoot.
There's so many things going on. Can I check on Jip? Can I make sure he's alive?
Yeah, so roll for medicine.
Hooray. 26. Well, I roll a 20 plus 6.
20 plus 6. So you go over to the unconscious, dirty little human boy on the floor,
He becomes a god.
and you investigate him and see whether or not he's even alive. And immediately you discover that he is in fact alive. He's breathing, and his heart rate and his pulse seem to be normal. But on top of that, you can actually sense inside that he's healing. He's gaining strength and energy at this moment while unconscious on the floor. Whatever has knocked him unconscious does seem to be aiding him internally, as you can feel his actual life force rising, possibly to a level it's never been before. You got the vibe earlier that he had quite a sort of fickle life force, but now he actually seems like he's got like a normal amount of life force thriving inside of him. On top of that, you're also able to help him regain consciousness. You're able to sense that the weird comatose state that he's in is just a temporary one. And through your various medical trainings, for whatever reason, you realise it's sort of poking him a little bit in the face and giving him a little bit of like a shake. Hey, you right? And he sort of just lightly wakes up. And he's just sort of like, oh geez, thanks for that.
He now knows the secrets of the universe.
Oh, gee, thank you.
Well, he sort of says like, I would give you a reward, but I have nothing. And sort of gestures to his empty pockets, no screws in them. He's got no screws in his pockets. And he sort of just turns his pockets out at you and sort of says, thank you for helping me, sir.
No, this is no one. Alright. Well, he's alive, that's all that matters. Great. Oh, my character's too placid. I need someone more confrontational. Alright.
You've kept people alive. 2 NPCs could possibly be dead now.
Out of like 6 turns I've had, 3 of them have been checking to see if people are okay.
Well, maybe, you know.
No, I love this character, he's great. Alright. Then,
Do you have some more action? You've got another action up your sleeve.
I've got another action up my sleeve.
Yeah, I'll give you another thing. What else are you going to do now that you revived the kid by poking him in the face?
Great. Well, I don't know who Morgul is, whatever
Morgul!
it is.
Malaggar.
Malaggar, close enough.
Malaggar.
I see them, I see Malaggar. Have I noticed Malaggar be doing all this observation, like sensing magic? Is he just standing still, or is he acting suspicious?
Roll for perception.
Hooray! 19 plus 4, 23.
Okay, so in this moment, you assess the entire room, all of the people, what faces are they making, can you sort of read their emotions, what are they thinking, what can you sense? As you go sort of looking around, you do notice some stuff. You notice that the Tiefling Bard seems like, that he's got some kind of like anticipation in him, some energy, some like, ooh. You get the sense that Rob, the aristocrat, is kind of getting thirsty. Maybe time for another drink soon. You get the sense that, hang on a moment, you get the sense that Thistlewick Jomble is just looking for the door. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He's trying to figure out how to get the hell out of here. You get the sense that Jip is very simple-minded and is just generally alive. In an internal sense, not like there's much going on in there, but like, just very basic life form style entity going on inside of there. On top of that, you get the sense that Nima, the Tiefling, is going to probably try and betray everybody. She's got that vibe of like, she's going to try and rob everybody and disappear with all of the money. You do also spot the Dragonborn is getting quite upset. The Dragonborn is very angry, blood boiling. You can feel that and sense that, and there's no hiding that. And you do also notice that Malaggar is looking at everybody's bags in a very sort of intentional way. Not in the same way that you thought that Nima wants to rob everybody, but in a different way. Like as if he wants to go through those bags for something more.
Alright. Well, that was my last action, so I'll retain said knowledge.
Yeah, well, at this point, we'll circle back to Araelia, Boralis. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do with this crystal that we've just found?
That's up to you.
Is there any way to get back into the room, or it's sealed off now?
The door looks pretty closed, and I mean, you could try and send the light in on the idol inside, but you've got to assume the room is probably still full of various smoke and or rubble at this point, possibly obscuring the path of light to the idol. On top of that, you can't now dark vision through the hole in the door because the crystal blocking the door is now blocking your line of sight inside anyway. You would have to remove...
What I might do instead then is I might investigate around the area to see if their explosion has created a hole on another side of the room.
Interesting. So roll for investigation. What was it?
14.
14. So you look around the area with the hopes of seeing another billow of smoke and explosion debris sort of funneling out of a different sort of area, because you know that if you do spot this, that means that there's another way in back into the sort of secret place where you just were. But as you're looking around for that, you don't see that. But what you do see is what appears to be a large half-orc barbarian barreling down the nearby hill towards you, yelling, "What do you think you're doing?" And he crashes into the clearing. He's got quite a hefty weight on him. And you see that he seems to be carrying a musical instrument. And but he's holding it as if it's a weapon. "What are you doing blowing up the area?"
Does he see us, or is
He's yelling directly at you. He's mad at you and Meat Shield and the robot yelling at you about setting off explosions in the area, demanding that you explain yourselves.
We got trapped. We needed a way to escape.
Trapped in the mountain! Roll for deception.
20.
20. Oh, it's a good thing you got out of there safe. My name is Brot. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Brot.
Well,
Where do you hail from?
He starts to rowdily sing some sort of poetry about his origins while playing on his instrument. But the song is not good, and it hurts your ears, and you're immediately not able to focus on the story layered within the song, as you realize that he is
Not a very good bard.
he's some sort of self-proclaimed entertainer, yes. But as you listen, you hear that while he's singing his story, he doesn't seem to understand that it's to the theme of battle chants. In your home world, the music that he's playing is what you would hear during battles. So the message is confusing that he's portraying at this moment, but you're able to gather the idea that he's been a long lost soul, unsure of his true origins. He's been looking for his battle sister, whatever that means, who was separated from him at his arrival into existence. But apparently his battle sister, who grew up by his side, went missing during a goblin raid, and he's been wandering the world ever since, trying to hopefully come across this battle sister. And those are the key details out of the song that you pick up. That this Brot, he also, you pick out of the song, his surname is Snarlsong, but Brot Snarlsong is just an orphaned half-orc barbarian bard, self-proclaimed, who's just genuinely a good guy out and about trying to help people. You can sense from what you pick out of his song that he is some sort of chaotic good. He believes he's doing the right thing and believes he's on the path of righteousness, but from the story, like some of the descriptions of his successes from your perspective sound more like he bullied some people and maybe caused some trouble. So his intentions are good, definitely, but his actions are maybe more questionable. And he sings all of that in his song directly to you. He's not hiding any of that. The honesty is very apparent. What do you think of that?
It sounds like him and Meat Shield would get along pretty well.
So you stop for a second and look to see whether they interact.
Yeah.
Meat Shield looks at you and gives you a signal like, we need to get out. We need to get away from this guy. He doesn't say it. He just gives you a signal like he's not going to engage in this interaction at all, and he's giving you the signal like you shouldn't be either. We need to get rid. We need to get out. We need to get away from this. He's like trying to sort of subtly stand in between the crystal in the robot's hands and the line of sight to this new arrival. He does not want Brot to see the crystal, and is now sort of trying to subtly block the view and giving you the signal like, all focus is on you. Got to get rid of this guy.
Then I look to Brot and, that's an interesting story that you've got there. You're looking for your long-lost sister.
My battle sister.
Your battle sister. I think I may have seen some figures over, to the northwest of here. Have you been in that direction yet? Can you see them? They've just gone over the hill there.
That hill over there. He sort of looks where you're pointing, but he doesn't see anything. They're over there. Roll for deception.
17.
Yeah, so he totally believes you, and he says to you something to the effect of like, "Well, thank you kindly strangers," and he starts singing his songs again, wandering off in the direction you've pointed, singing loudly and proudly. "Fight my battle, sister." But to you, it's clearly he's still just singing battle music. But to him, it's this very sort of inspiring journey that he's on, and he wanders off into the distance singing his song.
He's lucky. Maybe his sister will be that direction.
Well, Meatshield jumps up and down in delight. "That was amazing! You're the best! Come on, quick, let's go!" And he starts trying to lead you off in the opposite direction to the way that the guy was walking.
Yep.
He's sort of heading you back in the direction where you actually came from, back towards the town of Phandalin.
Okay. Hey, Meatshield. Instead of going back to Phandalin, let's go...
I'll flip the map over if you want to. So here's Phandalin.
Yep.
So right now you are over here. So there's a
Okay.
mountain, and then there's also forest.
Yep.
So you're right at the peak between mountain and forest.
So he's darted off this way.
He started
towards-
trying to return towards Phandalin, yeah. He's heading back sort of downhill towards Phandalin, and
Yeah.
old mate's heading back uphill towards... So Brot's heading off uphill towards the distance.
Yeah, towards the beach from the looks of
No,
it.
he's heading back up the mountainscape.
Okay.
You send him back up towards the mountains.
Yeah.
You're at the base of the mountain sort of there.
Okay. Let's try going another way, you know?
Which way are you gesturing to, and which way are you trying to go?
Well, let's see. I see these woods over here. Could there be any other things worth investigating in the distance?
You're looking all the way up into the distance, over towards the distant, never
Oh,
winter
is that very
wood.
far away?
It's
Is it?
very far away. If each of these is a mountain, and you're looking across the grass plains over there, what's your? Let me have a look on your paper for a second.
Or we could go towards the ice peak. Ice Spire Peak.
You're all for perception.
16.
16. From your vantage point, you can see further than you normally would because you're at a reasonable elevated
Altitude.
height to some of the surroundings. So you're able to see down into the grass plains, over some forest and trees and stuff, across to a proper thicket, a proper wood. You can't see the depths of the Neverwinter wood, but you can certainly see that in the vast distance is some woods, and when you look your head to the other direction, behind, looking up sort of past the mountains, you can see that the mountain range where you're at has more mountains behind it, and behind them even more so. Looking up as far as you can see what appears to be some sort of ice peak in the distance, but it looks like you would have to cross possibly 2 or 3 smaller mountain-sized hills in order to get all the way up to the ice, if you wanted to try and climb up the ice pie peak. But from here you can see a potential path to at least begin that climb, that journey, should you decide to go upon it. As you look around at all of that, though, Meatshield does sort of say, "What? You don't want to put the crystal back safe?
Safe where?
They're back at Toblin's."
There's no safer place than with us. I don't trust this Toblin's.
Well, we can't let people see the crystal. Do you have anything we can use to hide it?
Yes, let's put it in my backpack.
Alright, you try and put it in the backpack, but the crystal is very large in comparison to the backpack. That would take the entire size of the backpack and still would potentially stick out of the backpack slightly. In order to do so, you would potentially have to clear out all of your belongings from the bag. Is that something you would consider to do?
Alright, let's go and put the crystal somewhere safe.
Well, Meatshield sort of looks around like he's confused and sort of looks at you like, "Well, what are you thinking, boss?"
I thought the backpack was different to the other pack. Like, I had one for my stuff and I had an empty backpack as well.
Oh, does it say that? What does it actually say?
It says I've got the Explorer's pack, which has a backpack. It also has a bedroll. It's also got 2 flasks. So I imagine there's this bigger thing.
Do you want to
It's
use
got
your
a backpack
bedroll?
in
You're
it.
going to try and wrap your bedroll around the crystal?
Ooh, I could do that and still fit everything in. Or it could hide. It could hide the crystal as well.
That's what I'm saying. You could
Yeah.
take out of the backpack that and then put that on the crystal.
Yep.
And then
then
you're still
put that
wearing it.
back. Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you can put it back, or you could at least have the robot carrying the crystal wrapped in the thing, in the bedroll.
Yeah. Let's do that. That way we keep the crystal hidden and we can continue on our adventure.
Alright, well, you've pulled out of your backpack the bedroll and you hand it to Meatshield, who wraps it around the crystal and now the robot is carrying what appears to be a wattage of bedding, so it's somewhat suspicious, but it's certainly not as eye-catching as the large crystal.
Well, can it still fit in the backpack if it's rolled around with the bedroll?
No,
No.
it's too big to fit in a backpack without removing everything from the backpack, and wrapping the bedroll around it just makes it slightly bigger in size again.
Ah.
Because it's now essentially wrapped in like a sleeping bag.
Yep.
If you could picture a crystal wrapped in a sleeping bag being carried by a robot.
Or does the robot have any hidden compartments we could fit the crystal in?
Alright, let's have a little robot roll. No.
No.
The robot does not seem to... You say that to the robot, like, have you got anywhere to hide this? And the robot does not respond, it just stares at you blankly.
It just stares at me
It just
blankly.
stares at you blankly.
But it has
And Meat Shield sort of just shrugs.
Alright. So the robot isn't responding. Meat Shield doesn't know.
Well, Meat Shield's sort of giving you a face like he's... Yeah,
No.
barking up the wrong tree sort of a face.
Alright, and what do you want to do with this crystal, Meat Shield? Can we open a dimension somewhere? Can we go back to my realm?
Well, the problem with trying to open the portal back to your realm is the relic that I found from another world, a special sigil box, it got destroyed in the process of bringing you here. And on top of that, the crystal was only a part of that. There was a ritual that I had. It was on a piece of paper, and I had it sort of in my hand as part of the ritual. I waved my hands around as I was quoting the incantation, and it actually dissolved into the air. I would need to get another copy of that ritual. Another part of the problem is that this would only open a portal on our end. Your brother was the one that opened the portal on the other end. We would still need to potentially open a portal on the other end. Otherwise, we would have the same problem of going into a portal to nowhere.
Oh. How could we get a portal back on my end then, now that my brother's not there? Our people might be looking for us.
Our people? Those people you were with yesterday?
No, the people from my realm.
The people from your realm?
We were very important.
Okay, I'm going to roll for something for a second to decide what he says to you now, because there's a few options. 13. Yeah, you're really important. Of course. I'm not trying to say that you're not important. I'm just sort of saying that, as awkward as this might be to hear, time in your world works differently to time here. Essentially, no time is passing in your world. It's frozen within the relic to an extent. If we were to somehow repair the relic and use it to open a portal again and send you back, it would be as if no time had passed at all for you. You would obviously still remember your time here, but it would essentially be like going in the portal at one moment and then popping out again the moment later.
So they haven't even noticed we're gone yet.
Well, they haven't noticed you're gone because that world is technically paused.
In the grander scheme of time.
Well, I don't really know how these relics work because it's from another world, but yeah, I would have to assume so.
And how do you know this, Meat Shield?
Well, I spoke to a warlock, and he came from somewhere called the Outer Planes. And he was not like anyone I'd seen from this realm, and he set me down a path to unlocking the multiverse. I'm sure you've noticed all the tieflings wandering around Phandalin lately. Well, they come from a place so much more demonic than here, I can't even describe. But if there are places more demonic than here, there must be places more angelic as well. So that's when I thought, who's my favourite childhood fictional character? It's you, Araelia. My mum used to read me your story every night. She would tell the legends of this realm. So when the warlock told me that the realm from the fairy tale was real and that he had an artifact to access it, I didn't believe him. But he showed me with my own eyes. I saw upon the relic your world flashing before my eyes.
Oh.
And that's when I knew I had to try and pull you out of there.
So you called me here because I am your favourite person and you had no thoughts for what that impact would have on me?
Okay, admittedly, I did not think it all the way through. But to be fair, there was only a very slim chance of it even working. The fact that you're here is a miracle. Have you not noticed that reality itself is bending at the seams for you? He gestures around wildly at, like, the world around you, which appears more or less normal to you.
Not yet, but I have noticed that this world is very different. Now, let's get back on track, Mate Shield. If we are going to these different places in the world, how can we keep this crystal safest?
The safest
Yeah,
way to protect the crystal would be to enlist the help of others. If we were to assemble some bodyguards or some hired help, or even a team of noble adventurers that we can talk into protecting our cause, we might be able to protect the crystal indefinitely, depending on how many people we can put between the crystal and the ne'er-do-wells.
And who would you trust to be part of this team?
Isn't it obvious? Boulder Braid X-Stone and Seraphina Sleighride. They were the ones that helped me to find the crystal in the first place.
Is that so? Well then, we shall meet up with them again and enlist them.
We certainly should. When I first met them, I was about to be eaten by a dire wolf, and Boulder Braid X-Stone showed up with his mighty axe and saved my life, and Seraphina never let me live it down.
Of course she didn't. So, shall we go to the Icepire Peak, or shall we go to enlist Seraphina on our journey and Boulder
Bread?
Bread?
Well, we could certainly go and get Seraphina and Boulder Bread. They should certainly be up from the tavern by now. I can't imagine them sleeping all day. But if you want to go up the Icepire the Icepire... No, I can't pronounce that. The Icepire Peak.
Yeah.
If you want to go up the Icepire Peak, then we might want to consider getting more supplies, but I'll follow you anywhere. If you say we're good to go, I'm right behind you, right, robot? The robot doesn't respond in any way.
Alright. Let's go back first so we can get rid of this crystal without it encumbering our party, and then we shall set off on the next leg of our journey.
Yeah, well, at this point, inside of the Stonehill Inn, Nima waves her 3 cups around with the ball and is like, does anybody else want any games with me? Because I'm thinking of moving on to the next spot if nobody's going to stop me.
Not particularly.
Nobody's specifically going to try and stop her. So she starts gathering up her bag. She grabs her cards and her coin and everything and starts scooping everything into the bag. Everybody at this moment roll for perception.
I rolled a 20.
16.
19.
10.
Okay. So
20.
what was yours?
9.
9. You didn't notice. And who else? Everyone else was above double digits?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Everybody else notices that she's trying to grab more stuff off of the table than it's hers. There's, gold and, empty super bowls and, little bits of cutlery and stuff all just part of the table. And she's just scooping up everything into her bag as if, the balls on her. Yeah, she's just really just scooping it all in blatantly. Basically the whole table notices except for Rob. But she just scoops it all up and starts turning for the door with a big sack and just starts walking off out of the place.
Can I
Yeah, can we-
stand in front of them?
Can
to
we
try to
stop?
Yeah, all of you can. So you're going to try and stop her. So roll for acrobatics. Right, if you roll for acrobatics, you're going to jump in front of her.
I want to roll for
7.
intimidation.
7. You do manage to jump out of your seat and start moving around the tavern, but you do not manage to block the entranceway or get between her and the entranceway. She's closer to the exit than you are.
I'm very small.
I would like to roll for intimidation, please.
You roll for intimidation. Yes, roll for intimidation.
Never mind, don't worry about it.
No, you do totally do the intimidating thing, but there's just a lag between when you think of it and when it actually takes place, so it's not right yet.
Just kind of thinks about it and that's
Yeah,
it.
do you want to react as well? Everyone's reacting. What have you
I want
got?
to react, but I'm not sure if I should try and intimidate her or try and just.
What will you actually do?
Do you want to do something physically? Call out to her?
I kind of want to know about that coin that she has.
You just want to yell
Yeah,
out
but
like,
she's stealing
"Hey."
right now.
Yeah.
You saw her steal.
Yeah, but I don't care. I
Hey,
want
look.
to know about that coin. Because she's very interested in that coin, so I want to know about it. So maybe because I don't know if I want to steal it or not, because I'm really, really bad.
Why do you want to steal it?
Like,
I
sleight of hand,
heard
like-
you rule it. You don't like stealing.
I know, but I'm also
He's
drawn
also
out.
a drow.
Yeah, and on a quest.
And if the coin is good for me, then I will steal it. So I'm like, do I want to sleight of hand it, or do I just want to ask it for it?
Yeah, so what's your action here? What are you going to do?
Everybody owns that coin. It could be anybody's coin.
Everyone is. You're all kleptomaniacs.
I might try steal it.
You're going to try and steal it. So roll for sleight of hand.
She's
Keep my own
actively
stuff.
leaving
Everyone
her.
else is stealing
16
stuff
minus
and
1,
showing it.
15.
Fair enough. As long
15.
Everything you're giving away is poison.
She's actively leaving.
Okay. So here's where we're up to. So she started to scoop everything into her bag. Everybody saw it. Everybody knew that she took stuff that wasn't hers, put it in the bag. She stood up and started walking to the doorway. We all watched as Thistlewick jumped up and began trying to move across the room, but wasn't able to get into the doorway and block.
My dagger was on the table. Do I lose that?
No, yeah,
Stole
roll
the dagger.
for... Hang on, I'm going to roll for this one. You don't roll yet.
Stole the dagger.
Yeah, no, your dagger's directly in front of you, and you technically didn't take your hand off of it, and it's still as wobbly in your hand. You do still have your dagger.
That's good.
And with that being said, old Jip is still holding his now empty cup from the spilt juice break. Because when he got
we can't have that.
Oh, don't give him another one, please.
yeah, well, he's just holding his empty cup and sitting next to you as if he's still part of the action as well. But outside of that, a majority of items on the table did end up in the bag. But a 15 on a sleight of hand. You, as she starts walking towards the door, reach out and you do manage to totally snatch the coin off of her. But as you do, it's not so subtle as to not draw any attention. Unfortunately, she does notice and turn around. So now you've got the coin.
Okay, great.
But everyone roll for intimidation. What is it? Initiative. Everyone roll for initiative.
Do I do it? Yeah! Do I do it?
Yep, you do it too. Everyone roll a d20.
Got 19.
11.
4! No!
19. 1, 2, 3.
17. So,
I got 17.
Oh,
but
guys,
initiative.
what do you?
what's your dex?
Roll one of those.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice
plus
one. Okay, I have 16.
I might just go outside.
As the situation plays out, the tiefling has scooped many of the items off the table into a bag, turned and began proceeding towards the exit. One of the characters, Thistlewick, has jumped up from the table and began moving towards the doorway, but not managed to get into the doorway. It's halfway through the room. At this point, I believe Malaggar has managed to snatch a coin off of the tiefling on her way out. But she did notice this and has turned around, at which point a combat has now begun. As this moment kicks off, old Toblin gives a quick single to Jip, the listen boy, and Jip listens and immediately quickly disappears off into the kitchen. And Toblin sort of stands in the doorway to the kitchen as if to bar any entry back there and allow the events to take place in the pub uninhibited by him or Jip. Meanwhile, in terms of the initiative, the first move goes to Lenze, who in this moment decides... What?
I'll go ahead and first I'll cast Bardic Inspiration on Rob, the Sorcerer. I'll play like a little solo on my bongos. And, boom, what are we at? We are... Oh! Okay.
Yeah, what do you get?
You get a 1 to your next attack roll.
Oh, cookie.
Little bonus.
Just a little something there.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and cast Vicious Mockery on Nima, and I will roll a d4. She can hear me.
She can hear you, yes.
She must pass a Wisdom save or take 1d4 psychic damage.
Right, so you got me on that one. You definitely got the tiefling on that
What
one.
did you roll? I have 13 as my spell save DC.
Yeah, so I rolled a 12.
Okay, so
So
you
you got me. You got the tiefling with your thing.
take 1 damage, and I get to mock you.
You do get to relentlessly mock.
I get to mock Nima.
Hey.
You dance like you have 2 left feet.
Oh!
Shit!
The words scathe her.
And I drop the microphone.
Yeah, no, your words hit her right in her ears and hit her straight in her ego, and it actually knocks HP off of her as she takes physical pain from hearing your words. She actually suffers. But she doesn't have a moment to react yet because the next fastest person is Rob, who at this moment does.
Doesn't Vicious Mockery give an effect as well?
Yeah, it should have disadvantage.
Okay.
What does it do?
As long as it, because it hit.
You tell me.
Sorry about that. Must pass a Wisdom save or take 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Yeah.
Before the end of its next turn, if Nima makes an attack roll.
Which she might. We'll get to it. But first Rob, and Rob does what?
How aware am I that this is actually happening? Like she's
I'm gonna have you roll
she's
for.
turned around after she's been pickpocketed, and then suddenly just got insulted. I don't know if there's an actual fight going on.
Unrelated to your battle move, just as a general thing that you do, just roll for insight.
Is shit going down?
12.
12. You are aware that a fight is taking place, and you are aware that Nina is quote-unquote the bad guy that we're now all fighting against. The reason why, maybe we don't understand. Maybe you didn't actually catch that part, and you're just kind of assuming that there is a reason, but you are aware that we are taking a fight with Nina right now, yes.
I think I'm gonna go rummaging in my bag for my crossbow.
For your crossbow, I'm actually just going to have you be able to pull out your crossbow immediately this time. You don't need to roll for nothing, you just reach in there, you pull it out. You do see that it's slightly singed, but you don't notice that it affects it in no way at all.
Yeah, no, just
You want to launch your crossbow at him?
Yeah.
What does your crossbow actually say on it?
I do not know.
Yeah.
I don't know that off by heart.
That's fine. But when he's using a weapon, it'll be a roller thing plus the weapon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'll have to roll plus whatever his bonus is against your AC,
Yeah.
equal 2 or more beats, and then it'll tell him the damage.
Yeah.
And it'll
Yes, actually, you should do, before figuring out the damage of your weapon, just roll for the AC part. What's the... how does it do that part?
he will get a it's
Oh, the weapon
it's,
will have
it's
modifier.
it's dex, so he'll roll a d20 plus 1.
Yeah. So D20 plus 1.
This is a roll to hit.
Yeah.
That'll be 6.
Your
Plus
total
one.
6?
7.
Your total 7?
Yeah, misses completely.
Yeah, I was going to say, you pull out your crossbow and you do fire it in the room. It does not go near Nina at all. It goes up into the ceiling and stabs above the doorway, missing her by quite a few feet.
Nice. Perfect.
It wasn't her direction, though.
Yeah.
And then at this point, though, a reaction takes place, or the next action takes place by number 3. So at this point, we have Malaggar suddenly jump into action. You've got the coin in one hand, and a fight has kicked off around you in this moment.
Yes.
What do you do?
I might do.
It's good music for it.
Yes.
I might do entangle.
Entangle. If you
Look
think
at
about
all
the
of
space, it's a small room.
20-foot square.
Yeah, that's fine.
You all eat your friends.
How far away is she?
She
'Cause
is.
I technically pickpocket her. So.
Yeah, so you're at the end of the table, the closest to the doorway, which is why, as she was heading towards the doorway, you're able to reach out and try to pickpocket her on her way past. So she's only, I'd say, within 5 to 6 feet from you. She's not far from you at all.
So you will hit yourself if you do that.
That's 2 meters and not 3 meters.
I have 30 foot speed.
You can't. Okay.
No, I didn't.
They'll run it.
I don't know.
It's always the answer.
Okay, I'll do the.
Was the crossbow all good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called, but my.
Crystal.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. you
Cast
can't
your
use
yeah.
this weapon. What does it do?
Well, what does it
I've
say?
said weapon uses spellcasting, which is wisdom instead of strength. Damage becomes d8.
Great. Well, then when you roll your d20 to hit,
Yep.
you use your wisdom modifier instead so you roll d20 plus wisdom against the
Yeah.
AC.
Yeah, so roll D20 plus wisdom.
20.
Shoot, your attack does hit. Not nat 20, was it?
It is a 20.
No, it's a 20 total, not a nat 20 though.
Yeah,
Yeah, so your attack does totally hit, and you're going to do the damage for. You're going to have to roll and figure out your damage on that
Oh,
one.
D8.
D8.
So you got 20, so it's a crit, so you roll the die twice.
Oh,
Two.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus 2, 4.
4.
4 damage. So, and your attack was, what does it actually do?
it just.
You hit him with your wisdom.
Bludgeon,
Yeah.
yeah.
A bludgeon damage.
Yeah, bludgeon, yeah.
Right, so you jump up and start just beating on this person.
Just stop. Give me my coins, my coins.
Okay, and you did 4 damage, yes?
Yes.
Man, 4 out of 2 d8s is rough.
Hey, I'm not.
Okay, so you begin bludgeoning on Nima, and Nima begins taking this bludgeon from you,
All
and
the coin gets insulted. Crossbow goes anyway, and then just right, that's it. Starts beating.
the shit out of her because she
Oh.
reacted.
while you're beating the shit out of her, she is trying to defend herself, but not very well. And in the meantime, the next move comes to the Dragonborn fighter, who at this moment does what?
I think can I just react with surprise? Because I had no idea this lady had done anything wrong, actually. I only really fight people who have done something wrong.
Well, she was
Okay.
stealing from everyone.
I didn't realise.
Oh, okay, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't
also-
realise.
She's
Never
a-
mind. I did see that happen.
She's also a gambler, which is wrong.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
find that wrong. Okay, I'm gonna.
Debatable.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll roll to hit then. I'm gonna.
Say what you're doing.
Well, okay. I'm. Well, you're already beating the shit out of
You can
her.
come join with me if you
I'll
want.
come join you and
Stop
beat the shit
beating
out of her as well. I think I'll hit. I'll just do a standard hit with my greatsword. So I forgot how to roll it.
So you
Roll
roll your
D20.
attack bonus is +5. I don't know about that, but you do. So there you go.
6,
Ella.
11.
Yeah, so you jump up and you begin swinging your sword around the room. And your sword does go in the general area where Nina is. But as Nina's being currently beaten by Malaggar, you didn't actually want to hit Malaggar by accident. And so as you're swinging your blade, you're not really able to hit anybody. You do manage to swing it in that area, but it does not manage to hit Nina, and it doesn't manage to hit Malaggar. But you are there amongst them all, swinging the sword around in the air.
Is that just doing the same thing again?
If you were to use it, it costs nothing, and you just get one more action.
Okay, I'm going to use action surge, which means I just get to action again.
Yeah.
So basically another try.
Yeah, so go one more.
Please
Yeah.
don't hit me.
Where is my?
D20.
D20.
What the heck?
Please don't hit me.
I'm gonna hit you so hard. I'm gonna do a 2. Oh, okay, nat
okay,
20. Never mind.
What?
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Yeah, so now you're going to also roll your damage.
6 plus 3.
No, roll those two again. So you got 6 total so far. Because you got a crit.
Oh my god.
6 plus 8. 14 plus
14
3.
plus 3 slashing.
17 slashing damage.
Damn. I think she's
I
dead.
just hit the shit out of her.
I'm hitting
the
her with
shit out of that
right away.
lady.
Didn't even get a chance to respond.
You
Okay.
have 2 left feet. Tung.
So as things sort of play out, you jumped up and you began waving your sword around in the air. You didn't hit anybody with it initially, but as you waved it sort of around the combat, Malaggar did briefly separate while pummeling on Nima. And in the brief moment where the two of them are apart, you come down at full force with your sword right on Nima, hitting her for a shocking 17 damage, knocking her to the ground, limb flying off of her body, out of the entrance of the tavern, landing in the street outside, a pool of blood just spilling out from her stump. But on the ground, she is now has to roll for try not to die. Anyway. Yeah, she is bleeding out rapidly, and she sort of calls out to Fernwood Jomble like, "Help!" And Fernwood looks panicked. Fernwood looks panicked, and Fernwood does not help. Fernwood just sort of takes a step back into the corner of the room, just sort of turning pale white, like, "Oh, I don't want to be involved."
He gets his money now.
But yeah, so now on the floor of the place, Nima is essentially bleeding out this very moment, seconds away from death, and that's who we'll circle over
It's
to.
actually her turn right now.
It is actually her turn, and so she will.
Just cut her off.
I'm just watching this whole thing go down.
You know, I mean, I didn't waste any spell slots.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just chilling.
That's what we did.
Okay, one more.
Tried to
Oh.
block the doorway, then they've been cut in half before they reached it. So I see this as a success.
So Nima, on the floor, upon gargling for help and realizing that help was not coming, begins to try and mutter another incantation, but blood starts to sort of come bubbling up through her throat, preventing her from being able to say whatever she was saying. Within a few moments, she sort of coughs and chokes on her blood, and then just falls unconscious on the floor, all of you feeling that life force of the energy leaving the room. And Toblin in the corner of the room sort of says, "That was good." And everybody in the room suddenly feels a bit stronger too, like maybe they might have leveled up from this. We'll deal with that between this round and next round, but you all feel like you gained some kind of internal oomph from this event playing out. And then on top of that, Toblin sort of gives a gesture, and out from the back room, little Jip comes out with a broom and starts brooming the dead body towards the door of the place, trying to sort of brush the body off outside.
Perfect.
Oh my lord.
And the combat sort of moment
The shit.
passes, sort of a beat passes, and then We'll circle back to Araelia, Boralis. As you arrive back in the town of Phandalin, you are walking through the streets when Meatshield Flint suddenly stops you, and he sort of says, "Look down there! Do you see that man?" And down the long, twirly street, you can see in the distance, out front of the town hall, there appears to be a large man looking at the quest board on the town hall front. And he appears to be writing papers and attaching them to the quest board. And Meatshield sort of says to you, "That's the town owner. He's a banker. And if he's out and about, that means his house is empty. Right now, there's nowhere safer in the village than in his house. He has it locked up safe most of the time. With the dragon that's been attacking the area, he almost never leaves the house. This is a rare opportunity. We should stick the crystal in there."
In his house?
In his house!
I don't know about that, mate, Shield.
Roll for insight.
11.
11. You can't really tell either way whether Meat
Plus
Shield...
2.
Or plus 2, so 13?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can tell that while you question the plan, and that in your reality that sounds like a questionable plan, that Meat Shield hasn't led you wrong so far, and that he has seemed to know how his world functions, and so far has been relatively reliable. The off-beaten path, he did lead you to the Crystal Temple, etc. Perhaps it is worth trusting him, is sort of where your train of thought goes.
Alright, Meat Shield, let's take advantage of this. But just in case, we'll make sure this crystal is very well hidden. And I also want you to write down, property of Araelia Boralis, in case anybody sees it, so they know that this is.
Of course! So he quickly pulls out his little pen and paper notebook, and he quickly writes down a note that says, property of Araelia Boralis, and then in very small fine print underneath it, he writes, and Meat Shield. And he quickly sticks that inside of the bedding that's wrapped around the crystal. So the crystal's still wrapped in the bedding in the robot's hands.
Oh,
but
we
the
might take it out of the bedding when we get there so it can fit into a hiding place a bit easier.
You want to take it out of the bedding?
Yeah, so then we can have our backpack, our bedroll on the journey in case we need somewhere to sleep.
Okay, so roll for sleight of hand.
Yeah. We'll do that obviously when we're away from eyes, not in the middle of the street. So 5.
We are outside on the streets of Phandalin.
Yeah, so that's why I said we'll do it when we get there, so it's not in everybody's view.
Alright, well, Meat Shield quickly leads you and the robot behind the Stonehill Inn and through the back thicket of this little area. You can't see it, you need to turn the map over and see the town again real quick. Here we go. Flip this over for you. Okay, so as you've been coming down here, you've seen the guy, right? And he's over here messing with the board. So you've been led through this back area and through the thicket and down sort of between these buildings here. And he's led you all the way over here, Haben Westerner's home, claiming along the way, whispering to you, it's Haben Westerner. He comes out of his house basically once a day. And his house is the most secure house in the entire Phandalin. Trust me, he's a banker. You wouldn't believe what he's got hidden in there. And as you go into the house, you do come across that the door is locked initially, but Meat Shield sort of fiddles with the door. You don't see what he does, but he manages to unlock the door to the home and quickly ushers you inside and the robot. Quick. And as you enter the home, you do see what appears to be various chests. And some of them, sure, seem to be locked and sealed and seem to indicate, that they may contain great wealth and riches. But others seem to have, you can smell food coming from them. Like some are just boxes of supplies and food. And you can't tell which are which and what are what. But you also can see that there are a few doors. And there's sort of what appears to be a downstairs area that you can't sort of see from here. But everything seems to have various locks on it and various sort of contraptions to keep everything sort of sealed up. But there are plenty of hiding spaces. The room is a mess. And there's spaces up in the ceiling where it could be sort of shoved. There's sort of little gaps in the rafters and stuff. And that's sort of what Meat Shield's trying to suggest to the robot at this moment. Quick, try and stick it up there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Up in the...
Yeah, sort of up in the ceiling, in the rafters, in one of in the sort of the main room there, because the room is full of all sorts of stuff. It's quite a messy room with chests and shelves and books and all sorts of stuff. But
Would it be out of vision up there?
it would be out of the way, but not entirely impossible to see. Somebody specifically looking up into a darkened corner of the ceiling may potentially be able to notice it. But outside of that, it would be essentially out of the line of sight for the most part. Yes, I'd give it a good 80% rating. Why is that?
Yeah, just to make sure that wherever we stash it, nobody is going to find it.
Well, Meatshield sort of whispering to you, nobody ever comes in here, only Howard Whisperer. If he finds us in here, we'll be executed. We gotta hurry.
Alright, let's put it up there.
Alright, the robot sort of just sticks the crystal up inside the rafters, just sort of shoving it just out of view where maybe just a teeny hint of the bedding can be seen. Oh, you haven't taken the bedding out? Are you going to run over and grab the bedding now? You see come in the building and then you're going to try and take the bedding.
Yeah, we'll take out the bedding so the crystal's a bit smaller.
Alright, so you may have taken the bedding
we found
off.
some rags in the house that looked
Roll
like
for
they
investigation.
hadn't- 5.
You didn't find any rags.
Okay.
There was no rags to be found. But now you've snatched the thing off of the crystals. The crystal's now exposed and you can see it sort of glinting and shining.
Yeah, which we don't want while it's up there. We don't want it glinting and shining.
So the bedding that you have is very sort of bland in colour. It's like basically like a grey, brown sort of a fabric-y bag.
It would keep it very well hidden.
It was quite well hidden a moment ago inside of the bag amongst the rafters.
Yeah. Alright, we'll come back and we'll get my bedding later. Let's shove it up there.
Oh, good. So the robot quickly shoves it up in its hiding spot, and you all quickly exit out of the building. I'm going to stay in the initiative role that we're currently in. So we're going to go over to the first reaction from the end of the combat going to Lenze.
You don't get to do anything.
I know, because you were at the end of the thing. I'm sorry.
I would have done a dance because
You're
we're
just
lying.
standing in the corner
But
of the room
yeah.
like, well, I just saw someone's arm get cut off.
Yeah.
No, they were a bad person. They were being mean to the forest fella.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you would.
We roll to hit the forest gnome.
What? No!
Okay, so
Can
you're
I
going
intercept? Can I intercept?
Not yet. Roll for...
I'm gonna start beating the shit out of him with the clubs.
Actually, go straight for whether you're going to hit my AC or not.
Understood.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I hope I don't bleed you, actually.
I got a 6.
But so what you do is you jump up, you pull out your sword. You were hitting with a sword, is that right? Yeah, you jump out, you pull out your long sword, and you begin swinging at the forest gnome in the corner of the room, who's only just taken a step back, has watched Nima be killed. And now Fernwick Jomble is now aware that the combat is on and has picked up the initiative roll from where we were. So in a moment where the combat was about to be over, it's now resuming and also throwing the order off. So now we're actually up to Fernwick having a retaliation immediately.
I'm 6.
That's where we're up to, DM said. So now what we're going to do is the forest gnome. Hang on a moment.
What you can do?
I'm crying.
Okay, here we go. He's going to roll. 2. Okay, weird. So he does a magical thing in this moment to summon up a small shield that he then holds in front of him. But he doesn't manage to do the magic very well because you've panicked him and he did it sort of in a panic. So it's only a very small shield, offering only a very small amount of additional protection. But in this moment, he has pulled up a little shield and pulled it in front of himself. And then he also uses as an additional action. He actually looks over at the rest of the group and goes, "Help!"
Fair enough.
Alright.
Now we go over to... Finally, we're going over to... Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
Your
okay.
name
So
is
how things
Thistlewick.
how the tides turn. Alright, I'm gonna pivot around and use myself with my shield up and stand in front of Fernwick to just try to stop the fighting. Just stand between any would-be attacker and Fernwick, because he's a victim here.
Alright, I'm going to roll for acrobatics again.
Oh. 1. It was a 2 minus 1. 1 total.
One total.
Around. You should know you're jumping around.
So you do jump up with your sword, but in the process of jumping... Oh, with the shield, I mean. You jump up with your shield, and in the process you do drop the shield, and it clatters across the room.
That's fine. I've still got 16 armor class without being dropped. I'm still in the way.
Yeah, well, you're standing in the middle of the room now, yes. And
Brilliant.
also, you got any more up your sleeve? You can do one more thing if you want.
Oh, great. Can I prepare that should someone swing a weapon at Fernwick, I can put my body in the way? regardless of shield or not.
Roll for...
Everybody's.
No, this time it'll actually roll for perception. I'm going to see if you can perceive where people are going to go, see if you can anticipate their actions to put yourself in the way or not.
3 plus. It was going to go off the table. I got a 3. I can re-roll it.
Nice.
7 total.
7 total. I'm going to go with, in your head you can, but in practicality probably not.
There is no smoke.
Alright, now we're circling back to number 1 now. So you've got your go again.
I'm just gonna roll the hit again.
You're going to roll it again, Chase.
Well, he's not going to hit me because I can't see it coming.
That's not good. Got a 2.
You got a 2. And were you trying... Well, you're not going to hit them either way, but were you trying to hit Fernwick or were you trying to hit...
It's exclusively Thornwick.
You're still going for Fernwick, yeah. But so this time, you're going with which weapon?
My longsword.
Yeah, so you begin swinging your long sword towards Fernwick, thinking that you're going to knock Fernwick's small shield away and obviously kill Fernwick. But Fernwick is just sidestepping your sword. You're not as fast with this big sword as you sort of thought you were. It's actually quite chunky. Your sword movements are slow enough that he is just moving out of the way without taking any... You didn't even hit him at all. But on top of that, you also notice that Thistlewick seems to be kind of in the middle of the fight now, sort of in your way for some reason. You're not really sure why or what's going on there, but he's sort of just underfoot now as well for some reason. On top of that, did you have any additional thing? No, that was your one thing.
We look safe.
Now we go over to Rob,
I'm gonna get
who's
killed.
witnessed all of this and is somewhat comprehending.
I've got no idea what to do. Hey, I'm just gonna walk, get out of there. get out. I'm gonna go over there. Bartender thought.
Toblin, he's behind the bar, guarding the entrance to the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wander over here and like, what the hell is going on here, man? Give us some beer or something. Need something to wash this down.
Alright, roll for persuasion.
That one.
Nat 1. You walk over to Toblin and you sort of, hey, what's going on?
I can't
Can
kill
have
the
a
bartender
beer?"
now.
Yeah, you sort of say, what's going on? Can I have a beer? And without even looking directly at you, he doesn't take his eyes off the fight and he says, now's not the time.
That's past the turn.
This is the turn, right. And then we go over to number 3, so that would be Malaggar.
I'm going to entangle everyone
Okay.
to stop everyone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Roll for that then.
There's- Everyone needs to do a saving throw
Okay.
then.
That is a entangle. It is set 20 foot square as a difficult terrain. Must succeed on strength or be restrained.
Okay.
And it's damage per level.
Strength D20. D20.
Yeah, we rolling D20s, what do we do?
D20 against his spell save DC.
Spell save?
My spell save
13.
is 13.
So we got roll 13.
I got exactly 13, but you add strength, right? So it's 16.
15.
I got a 4. Why are you stopping me, man?
What the hell?
My bad.
You have to roll as well because you're
Oh.
rolling on yourself.
Okay. 2. I'm stuck.
Then you're stuck and he's stuck. People who didn't want to
Gives
fight.
me damage.
No, you
It's
just get
it's
entangled.
difficult terrain.
Yeah. That,
I am not entangled. He's not entangled. He's not entangled.
Is Thornwick.
Fernwick is entangled, and Toblin
How does,
is entangled as well.
How do we... What does restraints do?
Here you go, restrained. A restrained creature's speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonuses to speed. Attack rolls against the creature will have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls will have disadvantage. The creature will have disadvantage on dexterity throws.
How do you become unrestrained?
yeah.
When does this condition end? Hyde?
Yeah, what's the time frame on that
It
one?
doesn't say a time frame. It just
Forever.
says
That's it.
entangle.
I'm going to go with roll a d4.
Me.
Yeah, roll the little triangle one.
I was going to just search up when. How long?
Nope.
One.
1. So it's only going to last for 1 turn, 6 seconds. You've got 1 round of everybody doing a thing while we're all entangled.
That's enough.
Your entanglement was not powerful enough to last.
Don't worry. I'm not entangled.
You can
I'm gonna hit
Shoulder
the shit
check.
out of someone.
Go, be free.
Yeah, well, Fernwick is tangled and Toblin is tangled, for
You
sure.
can use your action to make a strength check against the spell save DC. Against your spell save DC. Yeah, so against the
But
spell
then you won't
save
be able
DC to break out of their restraint.
Alright, cool. It's 1 turn. If it was more than 1 turn, I'd do that.
Yeah, technically it's supposed to last for 10 turns.
Okay, excellent. Is it concentration?
DM,
Doubt
yeah.
With that,
Technically, entangle as per the rules should last for 10 turns, but DM says DM stuff, so.
Oh yeah. I gotta say it'll get stronger as they level up. It was just a level 1 entangle when they threw their roll, and the roll wasn't great. So yeah, it's just a 1-turn entangle this time. Just this one time. Again, reality is still a little bit loose at the edges because of that bloody portal yesterday.
I'm not allowed to do anything else, am I? Can I?
No. I'm gonna have you pause there, and you're number 3. So number 4 will be the Dragonborn, who's not currently entangled.
Well, how far apart are you two?
Well, he's no.
Within lunging distance.
Dragonborn's next to me, so
Dragonborn was.
it would be kind of far away, I guess.
If its last movement speed is 15 feet at the moment.
No, we're all next to each other, aren't we? Because you're. Oh no, because I'm with the dead lady.
He's
We're with the
yeah,
dead
yeah.
lady. They're in the corner.
Where did my
I'm
pins
over
go?
at the bar, and we started in the corner.
Okay.
Then lady walked over to the road.
Those batteries.
No pins, so I can draw on the little map, so I can actually lay this out for you.
Alright. Evil person.
I should have done a snare instead.
Yeah, I want to get restrained.
Okay.
I voluntarily failed my check. Please restrain me.
Please don't
Might
let
be-
me restrain.
Yeah, should I get a bit of colour?
Red
That's
would
gonna
be
be
better.
Red would be better. Okay.
Ready?
Hang on, so we erase
That's
that while I
fine.
get the
I
red.
can't see that.
It's
That's fine. Don't worry.
maybe you can see red.
Red or blue? No, black was not red. And so the fight's taking place sort of here, in this area. So the one, you did the pickpocketing, dead body here, little boy getting the body out the doorway, Dragonborn there.
Okay, yeah.
I think we've got over here.
Okay, so he's not actually that far away.
He's not that far. I'm gonna go ahead and say he's like there, entangled.
Alright.
Sure, why not? Close enough. I hadn't properly sorted this part again. Level 1 DM, but imagine that for now.
Yeah,
Let's
that's fine.
continue.
Yeah? What are you gonna do? Can you rip me out of the ground?
Actually, can I rip the forest gnome out of the ground?
You
Which
could
one?
try. Roll for that. That'll be a.
Are you smart enough to tell the difference?
But if I miss, then he'll probably be dead.
Well, he's taken no damage so far.
No, but it's me. It's.
What if I just
Yeah.
stop next to him?
Roll for athletics on that one.
You might be. Well, what if we all... What if I
I've got
cast
plus
Hold
3
on you
athletics, I
and
can
then
try.
Rob preemptively guts you?
Ugh. Please, 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 please,
What-
please,
what are
please,
you
please.
doing?
I'm gonna try and pick him up.
He's rolling for athletics to pull him out of the trap.
If I pull him out, does that mean I can move around still, or
You can still do one more thing, sure.
Pull him out and then just slap the shit.
just throw him across the room behind the bar? I need to think about this actually. What do you think? You're on his side. You're on his side, right?
No, I'm just trying
You
to
want
stop
to-
everything.
Fam, I'm in vines right now. I can't do anything.
What do you think I should do?
You got
though?
this. You've just seen me attempt to block a sword, very failure-some, and then vines have sprouted. We've been entangled. You don't know what's going on. You still thinking about Stroganoff. What did you do?
The forest gnome was an evil person.
The
No,
forest
he
gnome was a
wasn't. He didn't do
friend.
anything.
He told me he's friends. I'm shouting. He's good.
I don't.
He had evil in his heart.
But I don't. And I will
I'm
protect him.
taller than him as well, aren't I?
You are.
Okay. Where is? Okay, you're next to me, aren't you? You are.
I don't know the damage
Yeah,
class.
he's closer to the door.
How far can I move if I pick him up?
Ooh, like you got to pick
Will
him
I
up
have
and carry
to,
him.
Will I have to roll again?
Yeah, I'm gonna say if you're carrying him, it's half movement speed that you'd normally have.
So
But that's not that far. It's like what, 10 feet? There's not
Yeah, I'm gonna say if your intention is to carry him out the door, then sure, you can probably make it out the door with him.
Cool.
No promises, you'll have to
That's
roll
fine.
for that,
That's
but.
fine. I have to
We're
roll
doing
for
it in
strength.
So you're picking him
I'm
up.
rolling for strength, and I'm going to try and go outside
Alright.
because people are still on the rough terrain.
Yeah, athletics.
Yes, 19. 19.
19. So, in a sudden turn of events, the Malaggar launches a magic that envelops the entire room. Vines bursting from the floors, from the walls, from the ceiling, wrapping around everybody in the room. Some people managing to jump and move to avoid the vines wrapping around them, but everybody else becoming stuck in their spot. And in a moment, the Dragonborn, who had avoided being caught by vines, leaps into action, grabbing the helpless, frightened Thistlewick ripping him out from the vines, encasing him, and running towards the entrance of the tavern, trying to carry him outside.
Do I need to roll again to make sure I don't get entangled because I'm moving now?
Yeah, I'll have you roll one more time, and this time you're going to actually roll for stealth.
Is this a save throw?
Ask the DM.
Is this a save throw?
You've already succeeded to save those.
Yeah, just roll for stealth.
Oh, so I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Just roll for stealth on this one. You've already picked them up and you're already running with them.
I'm not trying to be stealthy though. I'm just trying to leave.
Too bad.
Okay.
You're going to carry a guy through vines. You're going to be stealthy enough.
Fuck!
What was that?
2!
You trip and land on him.
You do manage to pick him out of the vines and start carrying him through the place, but you were not as stealthy as you would have liked. You do stumble and stagger. You do actually get him to the entrance to the place, but it wasn't subtle, and everybody in the room saw the awkward movements, and they're able to predict your movement based on how slow and uncoordinated that actually was. Anybody planning anything dodgy right now probably has a good chance of hitting you, as you did not make it out the entrance yet. You're just in the entranceway carrying him. And at this point,
Actually,
you
no. Can I carry him like this, but my back turned, please?
You
Because
can.
he's small, and I'd like to make sure that he doesn't get hit while he's over my shoulder.
You can, but what he's going to do, because we're actually up to his movement now, is he is going to...
Wrinkle out of my arms.
Yes, he actually casts... If he's going to cast a silent image, do I need people to roll to see whether they can see through the illusion?
You can, if you use your action, you can determine it's an illusion, but you still see it. So.
Oh, okay, so they need to use an action in order to get through this anyway. Right, so
Currently.
what he does is he casts an illusion over the room, and the illusion is a Dragonborn picking him up and carrying him towards the stairwell and up the stairs, the exact opposite direction to where the dragon's actually taking him. The illusion taking place is such that as you stagger and poorly carry him towards the entrance, nobody actually sees that. What everyone sees is you picking him up very sort of well and carrying him very sort of casually towards the stairwell, as if you're going to go disappear off upstairs. Silent illusion though, so it doesn't sound like you're over there. For whatever reason, it sounds like you're tripping your way to the door. But visually, you're definitely carrying him off towards the stairwell. Everyone can definitely see that with their eyes. And that is... and then he also quietly says to you, "Thank you." And now we go over to number 6. Gnome again.
Alright, well, I'm just chilling. I guess I'll try to break out from my restraints against your DC 13.
And then you might also be screaming, he's friendly, he's friendly.
He got an at 20.
And then you me.
Yeah?
And this was on jumping out of the vines.
This is jumping out of the vines. Can I land at my shield?
You can,
So I
you
can get
can.
back up.
You leap out of the vines with such gusto that the vines basically had nothing on you. You leap across them like they're nothing, landing exactly where your shield is, able to pick up your shield without any hesitation. And on top of that, you make eye contact with Toblin, who's still guarding the door to the kitchen, who gives you a look like, yeah, you got this.
Best part of the game so far.
But yeah, so Toblin's very impressed, and because of how well you did, even though you've jumped and managed to move around the room and grab your shield, you still get another action. You get to do one more thing.
Well, I perceive a Dragonborn running with said gnome towards the stairs, so I guess I will once again just sort of retreat towards providing cover for said completely real gnome and Dragonborn.
Yeah, so you're going to go and try and block them with your shield again. So I'm going to have you roll for acrobatics. Bear in mind that the terrain you're in is going to give you disadvantage on that.
You're on disadvantage, alright?
You're going to have disadvantage on this because you're doing it through vines.
Yeah, everything will. 9. Lost. 9 is lost.
Yeah, so you do manage to move across the room with your shield, but you're not exactly in a clear line of like blocking them, but you are in the general area. So, for example, where's my pen gone?
He went towards the stairs though. He's
Yeah.
going towards the mirror.
I'm going towards the illusion.
Yeah, but so
I'm not
he was there and you were there. Now, secretly, both of you are here, but you're not visually. Visually, you're like over here now. So he has come from around here and he's sort of here. So it's not a clear line of protecting you, but he is in the kind of area.
Where is Lenze?
Lenze should be, I believe.
Yeah.
I think you might have been there.
All of the above.
And
He's on the
who am I missing? Rob.
I was over here with Torb.
You were over here. Yeah, you're over here by Toblin. Over here at the bar. He's gonna give you a little drink. But yeah, so now we're going to circle back around to number 1.
Oh.
So you can see them getting up the staircase right now, being carried by a dragon. The target that you're trying to kill is being Dragonborn rescued.
I'm dragging.
Dragonborn off up the stairs. They're not up the stairs yet. They're at the bottom of the stairwell right now, disappearing on you. Moving with precision, unlike you're familiar with from the dragon, almost unnaturally coordinated from the dragon.
Yeah, to give you context, I have been notoriously clumsy. No matter what. I've been tripping and falling, tripping.
Is Nima dead? She's dead.
Nima's dead. She is currently most of the way out the door of the thing with little Pip Boy, like, shoving him out of there.
He's too small to be restrained by the lines.
He's too nimble. Little nimble boy.
He's got a dexterity of 30, everything else is 2.
I will go ahead
It's
and
wisdom.
just put my longsword away.
I'll skip it.
Shing.
And I'll just say, look, I thought the forest gnome was with the tiefling.
Deceiving, he's deceiving.
Yeah, okay. Did you mean that or you were deceiving? You roll for a thing.
Roll insight.
Yeah, he knows which one he's rolling. He knows
Everyone
which one
roll
he's
it.
rolling.
6.
Say, no, that's 11.
11. So as he puts away
I got
his...
plus 5 deception.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Okay, shit.
This guy's a liar.
Yes, as he puts away his sword and says, sorry, I thought he was with the thing, the majority of the people in the room believe that. That tracks, okay, confusions take place. You know, even Toblin in the corner, sort of just nodding, like, yeah, alright, well, the combats I've seen, that one tracks. But we'll still move around though, the combat hasn't technically ended yet, so if that was all you were going to do, we're going to switch over to Rob, who can now see that number 1 has put his sword away, the other 2 are off disappearing towards the bottom of the stairwell. Old mate with the shields jumped up in between. You can see the little boy pushing the dead body up the entrance.
Beside me, I was looking down and I'm like, what?
Now it's time for a drink.
It's like,
Now it's time for me to go over and get that deck of cards.
Yeah!
God.
Oh, you go and pick up the deck of cards.
You know, I want that deck of cards.
Alright, roll for sleight of hand.
18.
Alright.
he's getting the card. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the number?
18.
18.
You find a winning lottery ticket on
So you stagger your way over the remaining branches and brambles sticking out of the floor and stuff, over to the entrance where the boy's brushing along the dead body, and without really even saying anything, you just sort of bend down and rummage on the corpse, on the body, without even really acknowledging it as a dead body, just sort of like as if it's a bag with stuff to grab, you rummage in there, and you do pull out the deck of 3 Dragon Ante, spelt A-N-T-E. On there, you've definitely got a 3 Dragon Ante deck of your own.
With an anti-dragon deck.
We have an anti-dragon.
Problem solved.
I'm gonna cry.
But yeah, so you pocket the deck of 3 Dragon Ante, and in this moment you feel like, you know, even though you're just acting like it's a normal moment, you feel like your heart is still pumping. There's still adrenaline in you for some unknown reason that you're unfamiliar with.
Definitely, I'm going to have to cast Quasar Juice Break and
Ah!
pour one out for
You just pour out one.
Pour one
over
out for the
for it.
homies.
All over her.
Okay.
All over her.
I roll for Arcana on that one.
Please don't revive her, please.
13.
13. So you summon up a mystical goblet of fluid that you understand is the juice of the cosmos, made from collapsing star fluids. You summon this and you pour it out as a sign of respect for the dead. And in this moment you feel like you're connected with the universe in ways that others cannot understand or comprehend. But you knew what you were doing.
As usual, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And we'll move over to number 3. Combat is still technically ongoing if you wanted to do anything, but
You can put your weapon away and go and do something.
we can potentially wrap up the combat if everyone's done trying to kill the druid. The gnome, I mean.
I mean, hey, my main goal was to stop everyone from fighting it. It kind of works.
It kind of works.
I entangle the wrong people, but it works.
Well, you
So,
still feel the heart pumping and the adrenaline in you as if combat is still ongoing, but you can start to do some relaxing things if you prefer.
I'm going to not do combat.
Okay, so what are you going to do instead?
I'm going to pull out the coin
Ooh.
and investigate it.
Ooh, roll for investigation.
I'm going to just look at it like, oh, what a shiny coin. 9.
9. So you do notice that this coin has symbols and markings on it that you don't recognize. It's very mysterious in the sense of not resembling any coin that you've ever seen before. And on top of that, the funny languages on it, you're convinced they're probably some sort of important writing, even though you can't yourself read it. So yeah, you feel like it's quite an important coin. You don't feel any sort of like extra magic value out of it, but you feel like it's old. Like this coin has some sort of it's not a recent coin. It's some sort of old coin with these weird symbols and words on it. Very fascinating stuff, but you've got no context on it beyond how exciting and interesting it is. Any other actions or anything?
Well, the vines are technically gone now, aren't they?
They've been lost 10 turns. So,
Your vines are dwindling at this moment. They're just sort of just all shrinking back into the floor. The walls are returning to regular walls. At this very moment, that's sort of just undoing around the place, but it's not technically over. It's in like the last. Give another 3 seconds. And
And how long does the illusion last?
The one that they're running off behind?
Yeah.
It's still well in effect. The illusion is definitely taking place. It's not worn off as of yet.
I'm going to look around the village. I'm going to go outside.
Ooh, okay.
Because I want to look for someone who will know what the coin means.
Awesome. So you walk out of the front of the pub. Where's our map of the thing gone? Where'd my map go?
There.
Aha, I've got it, yes. As you walk outside, what direction are you intending to look out of curiosity? So here is... No, hang on. So no, then, yeah, so the entrance to the inn is here. So as you come out, you're near here at a T shape in the town, if that makes sense.
I'm going to look left that way.
You're going to look left towards Town Hall. Alright, roll for investigation. Investigation.
So it's still 8 in the morning, right?
It's actually progressed now. It's coming up on about 9:30, 10. Somehow we've farted about for like an hour and a half in game time.
19.
19.
We're going to burn down that quest board yet.
Yeah, so on a 19, you do see what appears to be a large, fat man messing with a board of papers outside of the town hall. And upon you seeing him, he instantly becomes aware that you've seen him. And he turns and he makes direct eye contact with you. And in that moment, you see pure panic and terror on his face. He turns and, in a very sort of waddly manner, runs away off down deeper into the city. No, he runs away from you in a full-on waddle away.
You're obviously very ugly. That's why.
Hey, I've only got 10 charisma. And I'm
That's
6
not
foot,
my
and I'm
10.
6'11". It's
Not
fine.
my 10 charisma.
Okay, well I guess that's my turn then.
Okay, and then we're going to go from 3 to 4, Dragonborn. So you've got the guy.
I'm still under the impression that he's under attack.
Yes.
I'm gonna take my lead, honestly. I'm gonna go out the thing as well.
Yeah, so you're going out the front door of the place, carrying him.
I'm guessing our illusion's still going, and I'm not. Am I able to be seen by anyone?
You did not even know an illusion was taking place. As far as you were aware, you picked him up and you've carried him out the exit, and nobody stopped you for some reason.
Yeah.
So now you've got outside with him. What do you do with him now that he's over your shoulder and you've just exited the place?
I think I don't know.
You also see...
Can I see the map? I'm sorry.
Did you bump into me?
Yeah, I was going to say, you also see that Magla is standing pretty much directly next to you, staring off towards Town Hall, but you're not aware that he's not seeing you. As far as you're aware, he's
I'm just
with
looking over
you.
your head right now. I'm just like, what's going on down there?
Yeah, but he is standing next to you, staring out at Town Hall, and you're standing next to him carrying the dead body, well, not the dead body, but the panicked and twitching body of Fernwick Jumble.
Well, now that we're out the door, I think I might take my action to go a little bit further into town instead of standing around, because I'm still under the impression that people can't see me. Oh, people can see me.
Yeah.
So,
Are you still going to carry the guy?
Yeah,
so
I'll
you
carry
start
him
carrying
to a
him.
safe distance.
Yeah, so you start quite briskly carrying him towards the town hall, towards the middle of
I'm
town.
on a mission.
Yeah.
I'm determined to probably go to a field somewhere and just like put him down. And
Yeah,
just, like,
as you start hurrying towards the town hall, you don't really notice, but a large fat man in front of you does look in your direction, panicked, and turn and start waddling away at full speed. But you're now heading to where he just was.
Yeah, okay, all good.
On top of that, as the illusion going up the stairwell actually starts to subside. For everyone who's still in the room who's actually watching, you see them get about halfway up the stairwell and then just sort of fade into nothing, like opacity for a few seconds, and then they're just gone like freaking ghosts. Do you? Okay. Funny enough, it is your turn next.
Yes. What? It's
I'm going to have a heart attack.
No,
now.
we're up to you.
Oh, nice. Well, seeing this occurring and being, quite familiar with magic, I just, that's chill. I do, however, notice that Rob has immediately went to plunder the corpse, knowing that this all started due to this tiefling stealing everyone's belongings. I would like to go and try to gather as much of said belongings as possible to hold on my person so they aren't looted by other people.
Right, so you're trying to also loot the body.
I
Is
would
that
like
what
to
you
loot
mean?
the body, but with good intention.
With good intention. To salvage and protect the items that were on the body.
Especially as much of the money as possible.
Alright, roll for investigation.
Investigation.
Yeah, roll for
What have I
investigation.
got in investigation? -2.
Hey!
13.
13. Okay, so you also go over and see Rob has been looting the body. You see Rob pick up the deck of cards from the pocket, and he looks quite happy with himself. Not looking at the body anymore, now playing with his cards. He looks pretty stoked. But you are still focused on the body, and little Jip has finally managed to brush the body out of the entrance of the thing now. You also saw some of the party turn and wander out. But some of the party, like you say, disappeared on the stairwell, and you just chill with that. You don't know where they went.
Yeah.
But you wander over to the exit, and you are able to start looting that body. And what you manage to loot will be... Hang on. Okay, so you get 8 gold, 2 health potions, and... Yeah, just small.
It is.
Yeah, just small ones.
Gun.
Not a gun.
No gets gun.
But you also pull what appears to be a strange stone out of her pocket, and you pocket that as well. Well, there you go, that's for you.
Let's do that.
And then you also manage to pull out her 3 cups and a little ball, if you want 3-cup ball game.
Absolutely, I do, because then I can play games with him on the road.
Yeah, so now you've got 3-cup ball game.
Holding a table and it's
I
like,
got the game. I don't know how to play the game.
We'll figure it out.
You at one side, me at one side.
Yeah.
So I got
Are
one
you
star.
saying you're
You
carrying
got
the
one
one
of
of
those.
the 3-cup
Not
ball game?
the other
No, I
one.
don't know how to play 3 Dragon Ant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you got one of those out of her pocket.
Marvelous, big fan.
I like how you're the one that's accumulating all the secret stuff as well.
I will have. No one asked me what I talked to Tomlin about.
You're right,
I
yeah.
was like, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to know that or not.
Nobody knows nothing.
Brave looter.
I mean,
But you've managed to loot the body, and now the body flops down out of the entrance into the actual street, landing beside the severed arm that had been flung off of the body earlier.
Hey, a full set of leather armor if anyone wants to put it back together.
Yeah, well, at this moment, little Jip, he goes disappearing off back into the kitchen. Toblin now stepping away from the kitchen entrance back over to just the bar. I know it's only like a step, but he's back at the bar now making up drinks for people for various meads and stuff.
Yes.
Alright, so circling back around, we need to go back to Lenze.
I don't think I could add anything to the situation, so I'm just going to walk out the tavern.
Okay, you wander outside, and which direction do you look? Right, now we'll put the map back out there since everybody's now wandering around the town. So as you come out of the entrance to the Stone Hill Inn, where do you look? What direction are you going to be focused on? You're coming out and you are centrally on
Amazing, man.
this T here. No, the entrance is here, where my finger is. That's the doorway here. So as you step out, there's this sort of triangle, and the dead body's right in the middle.
Nice.
Where's the board again?
The board is actually just outside of the town hall, so the board is over here. So from here you can actually see the board, but the board's not facing you. You don't see all the papers on it, the board's sort of angled away. But you did see a fat guy that disappeared off that way.
Okay, cool.
That was me, IRL.
I don't know where the robot went earlier, do I?
Nope, you did not know anything other than when you came downstairs he was not in the tavern where you expected to see him. His corner of the room, near the bottom of the staircase there, is empty. And they didn't bother to put a chair or anything there, so it's just a weird empty space in that back corner there.
I will start walking over to where we saw the warlock last night.
Oh, back that way. So where you last saw the warlock was actually over in this area. So you're now walking past the dead body between these two houses down this area there.
Yeah, I just walk past her, mangled body and
Yeah, roll for nature.
Bruised.
roll for nature.
Roll for nature.
My nature sucks.
Wow.
Oh, I get 20.
Was that really 20?
19.
19. Okay, as you're walking down this road, just being aware of your surroundings, you see off in the vast distance the white dragon of the adventure flying through the air. You actually see it with your own eyes, and it kind of, while it's flying along, almost looks in your direction, almost like it saw you back. It didn't, but it just sort of turned its head towards the town as it flew away over in the distance there. You definitely saw it.
Do you have power word kill?
Kill that man now.
It is some distance away, quite a distance.
It's
Shoot
a
a
range of
fireball.
300
I'll wait
feet.
till you get back, Casey.
Shoot a fireball at him right now.
I'm thinking about just,
Dragon ring.
I'm thinking about using thaumaturgy to just get
Don't
a booming voice. And come over here!
I'm back. You've seen the dragon off in the way distance. Were you going to do anything about that, or are you happy to just keep walking?
I'll cast thaumaturgy with my booming voice. I will yell at the dragon to come over here.
Sure. Alright,
Come
roll.
this way.
Alright, roll on Arcana.
300 HP.
I'm scared.
It was 12.
It was 12.
12.
Okay.
I don't get any bonuses because it's not my
Yeah. Can I see the actual spell that you used?
thaumaturgy. Here you go.
Thaumaturgy. Give me 1 second.
Comes from my tiefling racial.
Yeah. Yeah, so you went with the voice boom.
Yes.
Okay.
Higher on the class is better, right?
Okay.
Better power receiver. Sorry.
That's okay. So as hang on a moment, I'm going to time. Lenze. As Lenze is walking down the street, looking up into the distance, seeing the young white dragon flying through the skyline, he launches thaumaturgy, booming his voice up to 3 times as loud as normal, yelling at the dragon, "Hey, come over here!" His voice booms throughout the whole town. Everyone hears him. It echoes around surrounding hills. Oi, oi, oi. The dragon does turn its head in your direction, looks at you, and responds. And then continues flying as if not changing its trajectory at all based on you, and continues flying off out of your point of view. You can't see where it actually went, but it's responded to you and then disappeared.
This is why we need Jip.
Cryoman is a diva.
And now we'll finish up your move there. You can just continue walking back to where the necromancer was. Flicking over to the next turn will be Araelia, Boralis. You all quickly exit out of the building, and just as you leave the front door, you see what appears to be Harbin Westerner coming around the corner of the Town Master's Hall, and he's coming at a fast pace, like a full-blown waddle, coming waddling on towards his house. And at the same moment, you hear in the distance, and it echoes around the whole area.
Is it a dragon?
Roll for nature.
16?
16. Yeah, in that moment you do actually hear what sounds like the tiefling bard that you met the night before, who had managed to get you free lodgings for the night. You actually hear his voice in a moment booming out, "Come here!" And then you hear the and you do look up and see what appears to be the white dragon in the distance, looking back at the town, screaming at you, but it disappears off into the distance, flying away. At this moment, though, Harbin Weston is coming at you. Michiel Flint quickly grabs you by the hand, and he jumps up on top of the robot, yelling, "Go, go, 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 go!" And the robot starts moving at a quick pace, trying to pull you along beside it.
Yep.
Are you going to try and resist, or are you going to go along with them, or what are you going to do now?
I'm going to go along with them to get out of the line of suspicion.
Alright, so the robot quickly pulls you off this way, and you sort of come around here and sort of end up hiding between these bushes in the back of the town.
Yeah.
And now you're in the bushes, and Meatshield's catching his breath. Oh, that was a close one. He'll be locked up inside his house for the next day, guaranteed. If anybody even knows we're in there, we will be blacklisted from the entire town. We can only go back when we're ready to jump this universe.
Then how do you know when we can get our crystal?
When we have all the other components for the ritual. This will be our last stop. We'll come back, grab the crystal, enact the ritual. Where do you think I hid the last crystal for safekeeping?
Did you hide it in his home as well?
He just sort of winks at you in a cheeky way.
That's very cheeky, Mitchell. Alright, let's see which way this dragon went. Did you see which direction it flew?
It looked like it was off to the west, the southwest maybe. We'd have to go off down the old miners' trail if we wanted to try and see where it was going.
To the southwest, so towards the Sword Mountains?
Yeah, I believe that there's a dwarven excavation point out there where they've been trying to do some stuff. We could go and check that out if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, you and the robot and Meat Shield wander out of the town of Phandalin.
Oh, should we see if Seraphina's there before we go?
Too late. You and the robot and Meat Shield Flint wander out of the town of Phandalin, off in the southwest direction. You're going off down towards the Miners' Trail, and as you wander away, you get the feeling like today's been going really well, and that you've got optimism for the rest of the day. You feel a little bit exhausted from the magic that you expended earlier, but you have a feeling that you'll stop soon and set up camp, even without your bedding. You're sure you'll be able to find time for a short rest soon. But as you wander off out of Phandalin and the Miners' Trail, you know that next time you will have the time of your life. Coming up on what would the time be? Well, it's actually just after midday at this point. It's about, I'd say 12:15. But yeah, you've wandered off out of Phandalin into the distance, to be continued.
Alright.
Looking over to the next turn will be There's Rob.
Yeah,
Rob. Yes, I'm going to go with Rob next.
Why not?
I'm just going to work my way around it all.
Yeah.
For now.
I didn't see no I'm still inside, right?
Yeah.
That's at the door.
Yeah, you're near the bar. You're sort of near Toblin. He's sort of
And he definitely said no to my drink earlier, so I'm done with him for a bit.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go outside as well. I need to find people to help kill this dragon. I'm here to help people. Gonna kill the dragon. Need to get on this dragon thing. Didn't see that over there. Heard him screaming out about a dragon. So I'm going outside to see where this dragon is. We need to get this dragon.
Roll for... I'm going to have you roll for perception.
That one.
Net 1.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, so you walk outside and...
Trip over the corpse.
You walk outside and you hear a crazy noise. And you're not sure what that noise is, but you look around and determine that... today's a bad day compared to yesterday. Yesterday was such a good day, and your perception right now is that things are bad.
Yeah.
We don't really have a clear indication of why or how, but you're outside amongst bodies. You're not really 100% aware which ones are alive or dead and which ones are walking around and which ones are dead on the floor, but like you say, you're trying to figure out how to pull together a team, and now you're standing in the middle of town just sort of confused. You've heard some sort of weird booming noise and not been able to comprehend it.
Poke the corpse with my toe, make sure it's still a corpse, yeah.
You can poke the corpse with your toe and wonder why it's not necessarily helping you fight a dragon, Your goals are pretty clear, and it laying around like a corpse is not helping the situation. You're at least aware of that.
Yeah, I'll wander off to the quest board to see if there's anyone who's saying, I'm a dragon slayer, come talk to me if you want to slay dragons.
Alright, so you're wandering towards quest board as well. Now... let me jump over. So we're going to go over to... hang on a moment. Thistlewick.
That's me. I presume I was busy looking at the corpse to not notice the dragon. I heard this booming voice, and I've seen Rob exit, walking over his spilled puddle of star juice and blood. And I put a Hyde. Sorry, Malaggar is down the road, and Rob's heading towards the same direction. So I guess I'll just stick with Rob at the moment.
Alright, so you're going to start following Rob. By the way, you did also hear the dragon roaring back. When you heard him make his booming voice out, you did also hear the dragon roar back. You didn't see it, but you did definitely hear that roar.
Well, in that case, I'm absolutely going towards the majority of the team.
Yes, the majority of the team's walking towards quest board, except for Lenze, who's wandering away back towards where the battle scene was from yesterday. He's already just crossed over the part where the necromancer had died. The necromancer's body is nowhere to be seen, but you've just crossed over where the blood splatter was from the weird stabbing that took place. Now, the ones... we're going over to Dragonborn. So you've carried the guy, and by the way, the illusion's now completely worn off, so everybody can now see you walking towards the quest board, towards town hall, carrying the guy. Mm-hmm. What are you doing now?
Well, we make it to, because we left before everyone else, we make it to about here, this little grass patch.
Yeah.
We're just next to the quest board, but I'm not really worried about the quest board, honestly. I kind of just put him down gently.
Yeah.
And I go like, okay, fuck. I hate that bard. Holy crap! Fuck! He just starts freaking out. Like he's not like making a fuss, but he's kind of just like he's like internalizing his anger. He's kind of like, I need to calm down. Holy crap! Oh my gosh, I just cut someone's arm off. I'm not. And
You are the murderer.
I am the murderer, but I didn't realize I was going to hit her that hard. I kind of just went to hit her, just to maybe like knock her out or some shit, and I just cut her arm off, and then she bled out on the floor, and I was kind of like, wow, I don't even know if I wanted to kill her. Like, well, what did she do? Like, he's kind of like, did she do something wrong? Because he wasn't really sure why they even started the fight in the first place, so he's kind of just thinking to himself while the gnome is standing there on the ground going, I mean...
Yeah, he is actually. He's actually started to like give you like a weird hug. And he's like, no, he's like crying on you like, thank you saved my life.
Oh my gosh. And I'm kind of just staying there. I'm not looking at the board. I don't really notice anyone else coming over. I'm kind of just like collecting myself.
Yeah, the two of you are just sort of having a little moment. He's just thanking you over and over for...
I think I kind of like pat him awkwardly on the back and like, well, on the head, like,
His
that's
little
okay.
wrinkled head.
His little head and...
Yeah, he's sort of shaking a little bit still, but he's crying tears of joy and thanks, and he's thanking you like so much.
Okay. Daraax isn't one to comfort people, so he's kind of just patting him on the head and like going, yeah, but well, I don't even know if I want to take that thanks. I just killed someone for you, and
Little forehead sweat.
yeah, and he's like,
By the way, what are you wearing in terms of like...
I wear chainmail armor.
You wear chainmail armor. Fernwick actually says to you that he's willing to do a ability that he has to allow you to change your outfit visually, but it will still have the same stats and such. But you can potentially change the colour or the shape of your clothing. And he's offering this to you. If you'd like, I could touch up your outfit a little bit if you would like any, changes to your chainmail.
Okay, is this like a permanent thing?
Sure.
That will just look forever?
Yeah, you've earned the favour of this guy, and he's got some illusionist magic on him that he can do mage armour alterations to your thing, and he's willing to do it for you for saving him.
Okay, and I can change the shape. Obviously, it's not going to change stats or anything.
You're not going to change your stats or anything at this moment, but
shape or colour.
you can change shape or colour.
Okay.
Crap suit.
No, I think I'm like, to my own advantage, Daraax thinks this is a great idea because he can make himself look more intimidating. A lot more intimidating by wearing the heaviest armor he can possibly think of. So he goes, I mean, yeah, I think, what is the most expensive armor you could remember?
Plate mail, the 1,500 gold piece.
He wants you,
set.
so
Gold
he
plate
goes,
mail.
okay, here. I want you to think about this, and he describes what plate mail looks like. It's really big, it's pointy, it's the most expensive armor you can get, this part of the land.
Yeah.
He goes, I want you to put that on me.
Yeah.
I can.
And Fernwood does say some foreign words that you're not familiar with, doing some strange gestures with his hands. He even pulls out some sort of material from his bag that sort of disintegrates into the air in front of him. But in a moment, he's able to wave his hand, and your outfit does, at least in image, change from the regular chainmail it was to the visual illusion of the golded plate mail. But the weight of it doesn't change, and its strength doesn't change. Visually, it changes a lot though, and you feel really cool having this sort of... you feel so happy with yourself. And Fernwick has like wiping the tear of happiness from his eyes, seeing the joy on your face has made his day. Like, he was having a pretty bad day a moment ago, but seeing this moment has really meant a lot to him.
Yay! Okay, I'm satisfied with that.
And then we're going to move over to Malaggar.
Sorry, I'd just like to make a point. He doesn't ask for any money or anything in return. He just goes, thank you very much. I'm glad I could save you. And if he offers money, he says, strictly no money. No.
Unfortunately, Fernwood didn't have any money to offer, but that's why he gave you his skill. He
I didn't want any money anyway.
He offered what he had.
Good.
Yeah. So, because I'm walking towards the town hall after seeing Batman run away,
You've also seen
I-
him
yeah, I-
appear out of thin
I
air.
did see everything that kind of went on during that because I'm kind of watching. And I'm like,
It's like,
okay,
oh.
cool.
You saw them sort of appear out of thin air, and then you saw her put him down, and the two of them sort of cry and hug, and then you saw him sort of say something, wave his hands around, and her armor magically
Yeah, I'm
upgrades.
kinda
You saw
just
that.
like, okay, cool. Anyway, that's not what. Anyway.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Alright then, cool. Whatever's going on, that's what you can do. So I'm walking to the town hall, trying to find the waddling man. I'm gonna stand in front of the town hall and look around.
Okay, so roll for. I'm gonna have you roll for investigation.
Ooh, 18.
18. So with your level of investigation, you were able to see what direction the fat man had waddled off. As he had disappeared from in front of the town hall from doing his quest board, whatever, he went back this way and then ran off this way. And from where you are now, you can actually see that he's disappeared off inside of this house. And he went in there, and as he went in there, even from all the way down the street, you can hear him slam his door so loud that you can hear it all the way from town hall. And you're aware of that. And also on top of that, as you look around, you can see in the skyline that there are no immediate dragons or threats. You did hear some sort of a noise earlier that sounded like a young white dragon, something you're familiar with but haven't really witnessed with your own eyes. But you're able to sense that it's not in the vicinity at all. On top of that, you're also able to sense that there's some large amount of people happening over here in the Paladin Miners Exchange. There's a lot of people down that way for some reason. And beyond that, the town hall actually seems to be closed and locked. The quest board is still obviously sitting out front, but the front door to the town master hall seems to be locked. You're able to determine that with your high level of investigation right up front of the thing.
Cool, okay, I'm gonna go hunt that man down. So I'm gonna go to his house.
What the hell? Do you have reasoning to do that? Jesus Christ.
He was scared.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't
like,
Yeah, I
have
don't know
to
why
hide,
he's scared of me.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
a
fair enough.
strange thing that he's never probably seen.
6
in
foot
his
11
life.
beast is storming after this man.
Just
Alright.
a random drow walking through there. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to his house.
Alright, so I'm going to have you walking to his house, and you're not actually there yet. You arrive on his doorstep, come to the start of the next turn.
Yeah.
So we'll circle back over to Lenze, who's walking away from the group, back towards the edge of the town, towards the edge of the field, towards the down cobblestone fence.
I'd like to do a perception check, see if I can see anything on the ground from last night. Anything dropped? Any random little pieces of?
Yeah, okay, roll for... Yeah, will be perception. Yeah, roll for perception.
Yeah, just 11.
11. So, as you investigate around, you don't see anything specifically relating to the other world from the other side of the portal. But you are able to find a small amount of just some nonsense laying around. You're able to find, just in the bushes, that and 6 gold as well, just scattered about. Just some of it's in the dirt, and some of it's under a rock, and some of it's just in the field. But yeah, beyond that, you don't actually come across anything spectacular.
I'd like to spend my time walking back towards the party.
Alright, you start returning towards the party, that's fine. We'll switch over to Rob.
So you're over there. I'm just gonna wander over to the quest board, see what's actually on there.
Okay, as you wander over to the quest board, there are multiple pieces of paper. As you try and focus on them, you realise that your attention span isn't quite enough for you to bother to actually read every piece of paper. You have to try and decide which one actually jumps out at you as the most impressive. Which one do you think? Here you go. This one. For whatever reason, that one stands out to you, and you're able to focus on it and read it and understand what it says. But the other ones are all just, you can't, you're not
This
even...
is exactly what I wanted.
Is it? Let me see it. I'm going to read that. That's so great. Yeah, okay. But anyway, so there you go. That's the quest that you've pulled off of the board. You've pulled that one off of the board, and you're reading it and giggling out loud to yourself as you read it like,
Alright, cool. Well, I guess I'm going to be going off to see some dwarves or something.
Oh.
Okay. You just turn and start wandering away while still reading the paper. Okay.
Pull the paper off the thing.
Yeah.
Start wandering in
Wandering.
random direction because I got no idea where no dwarves are.
Yeah, the direction that you're wandering, by the way, is this way. You're wandering down this way.
Yeah.
Just pilled it and started wandering off this way.
Yeah.
Blissfully unaware of those around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now we'll flick back over to Thistlewick.
That's my favorite name. Well, I mean, I had been beside him at the board. I'm too short to see what he's doing. See, I've seen him rip a page off, look at it, go, and then just take off in a direction.
Yep.
Everyone is in complete different directions right now. I don't know what to do.
Well, the dragon's right behind you getting an armor upgrade. You've just seen the armor get upgraded.
You can read it.
I guess I will.
Rob hands it to you. Yeah.
Rob's handed it to me, and I'm just casually walking alongside him at the moment.
Save the dwarves.
May I discern which direction the sun is in?
Huh?
Ooh, roll for nature.
You can see, Baba.
Yeah, but I need to know where the sun is.
Yeah, the sun. Oh, okay.
I need to know where the sun.
Yeah, but it's still like 10:30.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to know which direction to go. I need to know if my character's smart enough to do that. For nature, 6.
Yeah.
The sun is somewhere.
Yeah, so it is actually like midday at this point, and you can sort of tell, even though it's cloudy, that the sun is above you, but with no indication of direction, as you weren't paying attention earlier to see what direction it actually came up. So you're able to determine it's right above me right now, we're at midday. That does not help me determine.
Alright, well, I turn to Rob and I say, well, it's been asked that we head southwest to discuss these people, but I don't know where that is. Would you mind if we stopped past anyone to try and discern the correct direction to head right?
Anyone.
Or are you just going?
Yeah, so you're about here at the point of this part of the conversation.
Even says I listen to you. Nope.
Nope.
No.
He's
Just
just...
place southwest.
He's just
go.
I mean, it is. So,
He's daydreaming about dwarves. He's
This
excited.
way, southwest.
well, I know that it's better to stick together than to separate. So I'll stick with Rob and I'll look around to see if there are any friends within earshot and say, hey, we've got a lead on this dragon.
Alright, everybody else roll for perception.
You are deaf and
Nobody actually heard you. Like, they heard you, but nobody took it in consciously. They just heard yelling in the background. They didn't think concerned them.
Oh, this is some bullshit.
I mean, the majority of them may not have even heard. Some of them that are at a distance away, just so focused on their own thing, nobody even noticed.
I'm like,
More actually heard, we just didn't
Yeah.
listen. Yeah, there's a difference between hearing and listening.
We gotta warn the dwarves.
Yeah, I've got to warn
You
the
gotta
dwarves.
let the dwarves get
Warning the dwarves is what a good person would do.
Yeah, we
So
gotta
you
go.
know
Good
what?
warn them
Idea.
dwarves.
Yeah.
How
I
many
hear
campaigns
the
are you
person.
okay with running? Because currently it looks like it's going to be about 3.
I hear the person down the street.
I'm halfway
I
down
love
here,
being
so
a
I'll.
person.
Yeah, but I'm sticking with Rob.
Yeah, so you're up by Rob, and then we switch over to Dragonborn Daraax. Daraax has just gotten an armor upgrade, visually speaking.
Usually speaking.
You're standing near the quest board with no knowledge of the quest board. You've seen Rob walk up, pull a piece of paper off it, and start walking away while the little fella running around him has grabbed the paper and started yelling, but you didn't really hear what or why.
You're too busy reading the board.
Well, I obviously noticed that the bard isn't with that duo.
Okay,
Can I roll? Or
Actually, just look over, just look around. You're looking around?
Yes, I'm looking.
And what's your like vision amount? Like you can see. You could definitely
Vision
see.
amount? What do you mean vision amount?
Like how far can you see?
Vision is
How far
infinite.
can I see?
You can see Harder. It's daytime. I'm gonna go with you can definitely see him. He has appeared between these two houses heading back towards the Stonehill Inn. So even though you're here, you can just see him. Clear line of sight, yes.
Okay, well yeah, I can see. Well, yeah, okay. I can see Bard is over there. I can see Duo is going that way. They're chatting up about something exciting. And then can I?
From where you're standing, you can see the whole team.
Yeah. Should I roll for perception to see if I hear that they're going to do good things? Because they mentioned doing good
Nope,
things.
you didn't hear him.
I
You
didn't hear
did
it.
hear him yelling. You didn't hear what they were yelling.
I'm just gonna follow them, honestly.
Start
I'll follow
following those two.
I'll follow at a pace. I'm not gonna try and catch up to them, but I'll follow at my own pace. I think I'm leaving Gnome behind at this point.
You are. Fernwick is sort of like
Get off my leg.
magically
please.
giving you the thing, and now he's sort of disappearing as well. He's
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
backing away and trying to sort of disappear from the scene now.
I already have all my stuff, so I'm just kind of just going.
Alright, so you join them, and then we're going to circle over to Malaggar.
Who is now at the doorstep of this this random person's house.
Okay, and the door is sealed, and it's quite a thick, heavy wooden door with multiple latches and locks visibly on it.
Okay, I'm gonna knock on it.
Take a good time.
Okay, knocking on the door. Roll for, are you doing nice knock or intimidating knock?
We'll do a nice knock.
Alright, roll for persuasion.
16.
16, so you do a very polite knock, and after a brief moment you hear some sort of lightful noises inside, you know, some fabric moving, some items moving about, and then you hear the voice through the door. Yeah, who is it?
Okay. I'm gonna say it's Malaggar.
Yeah, what do you want?
I just want to ask you a few questions, if that's alright.
You do a quest?
No, it's that one.
Put the proof under the door and I'll put out the payment.
No, there's no quest.
What do you want?
I have a question. Okay, I'm gonna say that I'm here to ask a few questions and ask why he was running from me. Because I just got into town and I was looking around.
There's a dragon in the area. It's not safe.
Dragon, you say?
There's a white dragon. Kill it and get payment.
Will that give me some answers?
What answers? A piece of paper slides out from under the door. Under the paper, under the door, a piece of paper comes scrunched out for you. There you go. That comes shuffled out from under the door.
Great. Guess I know what I'm doing now. Can I ask this guy where I should be going for that?
Roll for investigation.
Okay. 12.
12. So you yell out, where should I go for that? And he yells back, check the quest board. Do investigate. The dragon hasn't been found. You have to find it to kill it.
Okay. They take the drink. Okay. I'm gonna head back to the quest board. But as I'm heading back, can I see?
You do see that they're all starting to disappear off down that other pathway, yes.
Okay.
As you've turned your head and looked that way, you see that half of the group has gone that way. You don't see where the bard is, but you do see that basically everybody else is wandering off that way.
Okay. Yeah.
You also don't see the forest gnome anymore either. He seems to be missing now.
Cool. I'm gonna head to that location. Smack bang in the middle of it all.
Oh, okay. As you reach back to that location, you can now turn your head and see past Town Hall to where the bard is. The bard is slowly approaching as well, it would seem.
Okay.
Speaking of, over to the bard.
At this point, I'm trying to catch up and walking at a pretty fast pace. I eventually catch up to the group.
Sure.
And I say to these two, who are currently I'm trying to catch up to, where are we going?
Yeah, so these two have made it to about here at this point. So from here to there, you must do a bit of a speed walk, a bit of a dash. So you caught up to them,
I'm
yeah?
definitely puffed.
You ran straight past me, just...
Yeah,
You did straight past these two, yeah.
Plus Daraax is
I could roll for how puffed I am.
Nope, you're good. You've just caught up to them and said, where are you going?
Where are we going? We're off on a quest.
There's dwarves out there, all innocent and digging crap out. But there's a dragon. We gotta save them from the dragon. We gotta go tell them that there's a dragon. They should already know, but the dwarves, they're idiots. Not like us people. Not like you. You're a tiefling. You're probably an idiot too. But us people, we know dragons. Bad news. We've got to go save these dwarves.
That's good, my friend. It's been a while since I've had some dwarf blood.
We have to see if the
No,
the
save!
dwarves from the dragon.
Save the dwarves.
Save the dwarves.
Yeah.
Can I be
Got
here
it.
to talk about dragon?
Roll for insight.
Inside.
Yeah, roll for insight.
Can I finally hear that they're going
7.
to do...
7. No, from a distance you can tell that they're talking about stuff, but you have no idea what. You'd have to approach and get closer to try and establish more.
Yeah, or is those three and then me, then you're all the way behind us because you're still...
We're getting
I'm
there.
just like-
Speaking of, I believe now we're going to circle over to Rob, who's just finished explaining what the quest is, but he's actually got a turn now. What are you going to do with your turn? Just keep walking.
No, I'll look back, see if anybody else is around.
As you look around, you see what appears to be the majority of the team trailing behind you.
Yeah.
As far as you can tell in the state that you're in, the whole team is behind you on this.
That's perfect. I'm the aristocrat. I'm just doing it. All the peasants are going to follow me.
And they are?
Perfect.
De facto,
Good.
de
Yeah,
facto,
let's
I
go.
think you are the group leader.
I'm not.
Doing this
So at this point, you do find yourself directly out front of the Phandalin Miners Exchange, if that means anything to you. You do hear what sounds like people talking and laughing inside.
I'm looking for dwarf prospectors. I'm assuming that's a mining thing. Let's pop in there. Ask them where these dwarves are.
Okay, so you're walking in, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, roll for insight.
It's not 20, but 22.
Net 22. As you walk in, despite having only been relatively new to the area, you do have an innate ability to figure out exactly who's in charge and who isn't. As you look around the Miners Exchange, there is a lot of characters, there's a lot of people in the room, but immediately the one that jumps out to you is clearly the person in charge, the powerful looking woman. You walk straight up to her and sort of, you don't even need to say anything, just as you walk up she tries to introduce herself to you hello, I'm Helia Thornton. How can I help you today?
Well, Elliot, I've need to go save some dwarves. You happen to know where some dwarves are around here? They're in the mountains somewhere.
In the mountain mining situation? I do know about this. She ponders for a moment and she makes a signal to some of her people who bring her over some books and scrolls, and she starts sifting through information, humming aloud with oh yes, okay, maybe. But she hasn't actually given you the answer yet. At this moment, we're going to circle back over to Thistlewick.
Alright, well, I've been by his side this whole time, so I hear him talking. I'm in there. He's observed the leader and is looking at books and scrolls.
You did actually hear her introduce herself to him, so you also now know that the leader's name is Helia Thornton.
Helia Thornton, good on you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, she didn't directly address you yet, she addressed him. She hasn't even looked down to meet your eye line yet.
Are there any dwarves about in this area?
Good question. I'm going to go with yes. There is some dwarves in this location.
Marvelous. I mean, I go up and introduce myself and say, hello there. We're trying to find an ancient dwarf mine with some dwarves. We have to warn them about the nearby dragon. Would you know where we can start looking?
Okay, roll for...
I think I'm like 120 years old. I'm 60, so I'm half of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Roll for investigation.
9.
9. And your question was essentially, do you know where...
Do you know where we would start looking? It says to go southwest, there's some mines. Do you know anything about this, or am I being a bit racist?
Of the two dwarves that you're speaking to, one of them does look kind of vaguely offended and turns and walks away without acknowledging it. But the other one does stop and think for a moment and sort of susses you up and down and then decides to actually have a conversation. But he's not overly friendly about it. This particular dwarf is somewhat grumpy in his response. He does sort of say to you of a location. And he does sort of pull out a small piece of paper and draw up sort of a crude map of where the town is now to where the location is that you would want to go. And he does sort of hand you a crudely drawn map between here and there. But he doesn't really say anything or acknowledge you too much, and he sort of gives you a face like that you're overstepping to some extent, that you might be adding a depth to some level, and he sort of gives it to you begrudgingly.
But then does this map give me an idea of where to go for the mines, though?
Yeah.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah, map to the mines. Put that on your thing.
Group map to the mines. Great. I'm going to go back to Rob and wave this about. I won't just interrupt him, but I'll say I've got something.
You're going to wave the map around in front of Rob. Alright, we'll circle back to that. Over to the Dragonborn fighter. What are you doing in all of this? Your armor's been magically upgraded. You've seen them wander off into the mining exchange.
Daraax probably isn't too interested in going inside. Most likely just standing next to the door waiting for him to come back out.
You do actually have a pane of glass nearby where you can see your reflection and see your shiny new armor. So you are somewhat distracted out front.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, okay.
He's kind of like flexing a little bit. He's kind of like going, oh, shiny.
I'm sorry, your armor.
Yeah.
What colour is it?
Well, she said gold.
Okay. And you're a bronze dragon gold.
No, I'm a gold dragon as well.
Oh,
So it's gold, slap
Full
flat.
gold.
The biggest
Flashy.
shiny.
He's big and shiny, and he's loving it in his reflection.
Yeah.
He's actually never seen a reflection as attractive before this. It's remarkable.
Ooh, okay, yeah. He basically just doesn't want to be in the vicinity of the bar, so he's kind of just out of the way, not in there looking himself around.
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
fucking nuclear. What the?
Yeah, no, he's mad at you. Very mad at you, actually.
Doesn't understand your ways.
No, once he gets his nose out of place, that's basically just it for you. Unless you do something really good and like heroic and like just, then he's like, oh my god, wow, you're just amazing, right?
Yeah, well, as you pose in front of your reflection, you feel your confidence soaring. You feel like you're the coolest you've ever been.
Charisma shoots.
Yeah, it's like very +4 charisma.
I've got a +1 and that's it, so I'm kind of just like, yeah, I look pretty good actually.
You should be playing like a paladin with an oath of like
I was
righteousness
actually-
or something.
No, I was thinking about multiclassing later on, but right now he's just a fighter.
We might get there, we'll get there.
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of getting there, the next person to be getting there will be Malaggar.
Yes, I'm going to be approaching them because I decided to follow them after seeing them all walking in one direction. So I was following them and I see Daraax shining as bright as day, and it hurts my eyes because it's sun. Power of the sun right there, so I'm kind of like squinting as I go and I can't really see, and I'm like, hey, trying to like talk to him, but the sun is just
He's too busy
in my
flexing.
eyes. And so I was like, okay, well, I did see some people go inside, so I'll go inside, away from the shining sun of a person, and see what I can see inside.
Inside of the mining exchange?
Yes.
Alright, so roll for investigation.
21.
21. Okay, so even though there's quite a few entities roaming about the room, for whatever reason you hone in on the actual layout of the room itself. You're able to determine that in the room there's a lot of trade and exchange happening in this exact room, but there's an upstairs as well that you can determine has some sort of living lodgements in it. But there's also a secret door leading to down below this building that you're in. And the door, even though it's concealed, you're able to see this concealed door. It's just basically a trapdoor in the room that obviously some of the staff seem to be aware of, but everybody else in the room doesn't seem to notice that there's this door leading down further. But because you've assessed the room so well, you do know it's there. You also assess the room for general threats, and while everybody does obviously have some stats and some ability for violence and aggression and stuff, you don't notice anybody jumping out at you as crazy powerful or overly evil or devious of the new people that have joined. You're not exactly scanning your team at this point, but the people in the room, such as Helia Thornton, and in fact she's the one that gives you the worst vibes in the room. She's got a vibe about her like there's some dodgy stuff, some extra skeletons in the closet or bad doings she had to do to get to her position, but beyond her really nothing in the room is triggering you as alarming.
Is that what do my keen senses tie in with that or no?
Oh, what do your keen senses do?
I don't know, just keen sense. I don't think I've written it down. I don't think I've written it down.
It's
Sure,
one extra
I'll go ahead and go as far as with your keen senses, you can kind of tell that whatever darkness is harboring within Helia is in relation to like her belief system, whatever her religion is, or maybe some sort of cult-like organization. She's got something that she's strongly convicted to. And you can sense those convictions even if you can't put your finger on them.
What was she again?
She appears to be just a human woman,
Okay.
as far as you can tell.
keen senses.
Keen senses allows you to add your proficiency bonus to any perception rolls.
Okay.
Ah.
An extra +2.
+2.
Oh, okay. So
So yeah,
that's
if you
plus
want to
five,
investigate
okay.
something specific like wisdom, you can +2 if you want.
Alright, well with that in
It's a
mind...
perception
Just
check.
perception
Okay,
checks.
that's plus 5 then, no money.
Alright, well with that in mind, you do actually notice that she has a little sigil on her clothing, and you do actually identify that sigil as part of a shadowy organization called Zentithram. I'm going to need to learn how to pronounce that. What's that?
Oh,
Zentithram, oh you already know. Apparently they know. So then Zentithram.
Okay.
She has a little symbol, a little sigil of that on her thing, and you know from your high roll that this is a shadowy organization. That the organization in rumor, you haven't actually met any of them, but the rumor is that they're trying to take control over the north through wealth and influence. There's quite a bit of a conspiracy about these people.
I came from the north. Hold on.
Well, that's why you need a conspiracy.
Hold on a minute. Is Helia still talking to Robin?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's doing a Robin ignoring a gnome waving a paper around.
Yeah, okay.
Feelings.
Small and low. I don't even see you at this point. Okay, so I'm going to...
Maybe some nice plain gold.
I'm going to head over to them. And just try and listen in.
How tall's the ceiling?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. How tall is the ceiling? Am I going to hit my head on the ceiling?
It's not
No.
that short.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the ceiling in here is roughly... So you are 2/3 the height of the ceiling.
Great. Tall.
10-foot tall ceiling.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go to them and listen.
Is
in.
that high or low? You made a face thing.
I think it's nice.
Oh,
Given
good.
that For mining things, you'd expect dwarves and short people, but
Nope, quite a
they're
large
accepting
building.
here.
You can stack 5 on top of each other. Yeah.
To be fair, some parts of the building represent older brickwork, as if the structure was a different structure at some stage that maybe crumbled, collapsed, got destroyed, and then got rebuilt up again into what it is now.
Cool. As long as I don't hit my head on anything.
You're not hitting your head on nothing, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to them and listen in and see if I can hear anything important. Because she seems to be powerful, and I've recently seen these guys before.
Alright,
So
fair
I'll
enough.
listen.
Alright, so you're listening in. We're going to circle back to the bard. This would be Lenze.
I honestly may not have anything good to add to this situation. So I'm just going to. I'm literally just going to follow behind Rob and Thistlewick.
Okay, so we'll circle back to Rob, who at this point has been told in graphic detail by Helia where the location is for the quest. You and her were having this conversation and she's just told you now exactly where to go. So you don't need a map or anything, and at this point you've got a piece of paper being waved in your face and you're finally sort of maybe becoming aware of that.
Reaching all
Well,
the way up.
I'm gonna thank her very much for her help.
Yeah.
Give her a Quasar juice break.
Roll for Arcana.
I feel like we should have a limit on these.
It's a
5.
cantrip.
5.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
I rolled to cut off Rob's hands.
Okay, she takes it and she drinks it, and the sparkle that happens behind her eyes happens for a moment, and she blinks, and then she says to you, "That was the best drink I've ever had."
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
She just continues drinking it, but she looks really happy with herself.
Alright, Thistlewick,
Every NPC.
Lenze, we're off to save the dwarves. You coming?
Absolutely.
Let's go!
You're
And
there
then-
as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
standing behind you
outside.
guys.
I'm the only person outside.
Yeah, no, I'm just watching. I'm just watching.
He's a half-breed, not just a drow.
He's
Jeez.
a big ass drowse, even worse.
I'm the scariest thing.
Very drow.
Turn around, see giant drows stand there. Wanna come save dwarves?
Sure. As
Let's
long
go.
as it has some good reason. Then, yeah.
Then just walk out the front. Do I see flexing Goldie the Goldalite over there?
Yeah, so just to confirm, you've agreed to the party, you've agreed to the party, you've agreed to the party. Are you going to agree to the party?
Okay, well, what is your question? I'm flexing in the mirror. I'm flexing.
Yo!
Yeah.
Do you like dwarves?
Do you like minus?
Yes.
Want to save some dwarves?
For what reason?
Well, there's a dragon flying around, and apparently they
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go save some dwarves.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. If I'm saving them, yes, of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
Okay, go save dwarves.
Okay, at that point I did hear him mention dragons, so now I'm definitely interested.
Okay.
And then he comes out behind me.
He does come out
And
as part
after
of the
I
party.
agree,
Yeah, after
I
you
go,
agree.
wait. Is this guy in the party as well?
Yeah, this
I'm
guy's
not
coming to
looking-
save dwarves.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm coming to kill dwarves. What?
He said he loves dwarves.
Love to kill them.
What's the taste of it?
You can't trust tieflings anyway, it's fine.
You must be lying. You must be a good fella.
Yeah.
I feel a bit conflicted right now.
You have 7
Fine.
intelligence.
I do have 7 intelligence.
I
I can be
also
very
have
easily
7
Yeah, me
intelligence,
too.
so-
I'm very, very easily convinced. So if 2 people are saying yes, then
Roll for insight.
oh god. This is not gonna be good. Wow!
I'm the most
One
person
You
that
can
ever.
always use your thing if you want to.
I'm not using that. I haven't rested yet. Holy
Okay.
shit!
So in that moment, you sort of saw that the Tiefling bard was joining the party, and you tried to protest, "Hey, is he joining? I don't want to join if he's joining." And then you sort of hear back, "Oh no, he's coming to help save the dwarves, eat the dwarves. He likes dwarves. He likes to taste the dwarves. He's going to help with the dwarves." And in the moment, you can't quite track whether he's going to help the dwarves or kill the dwarves, but you realise that the whole team is all doing the same thing now, and you've realised that you're going to be the odd one out if you don't participate. So you quickly panic and go, "Oh yeah, dwarves, dwarves."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So now you're not
yeah.
100% sure if we're helping the dwarves or saving the dwarves, and you've got some emotion conflicts, but you're going to come along at least to see what the team tries to do to these dwarves. So
The
you can-
reasoning is unclear, but I hear save or help or something of the sort, and I'm like, yeah, of course, yeah. That
Look,
sounds
you
good.
understood we're going to the dwarves.
Yeah, we're
so...
going there. I guess I'm coming with you.
Alright, now as the party leaves the town of Phandalin, following either a combination of the map or the knowledge that was provided of where to go either way, they progress towards the location. I will call another quick 10-minute break here for bathrooms and smokos and stuff. Get your
It's
drink,
6:30.
order the food. I'm fine with being up for another little bit if everyone else is.
What are we thinking? Should we stop here?
I don't know, it does sound like a good stopping point.
We're happy to
Okay.
stop right here and we'll start at the mine entrance the next time, yes?
My attention span went 2 hours ago.
That's fine, we're done. So,
That's fine.
as the team disappears into the exit of the town, disappearing off over the horizon, they all know that next time, when they arrive at the entrance of the thing, the real adventure will begin.
Yeah, save the dwarves.